you. We're gonna bring a community player who has been around forever, legitimately forever. Chat. His name's Lonnie. If you've ever played Realm Royale, you probably know who Lonnie is. He's EU. So give it up for Lonnie, everybody, and we'll get him in here, and we're just gonna talk about a lot of stuff. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff, and we'll just kind of hang out and chill and relax, and we'll shoot the shit together. Let's do that. Let's do this. There it is.
Yo. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm all right, man. We've took the first 2 hours to kind of shoot the shit together. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot.
Yeah, exciting times, man. It's crazy to be even talking about this here, man. It's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah. It is actually insane to have another just go at it, right? And I think being able to set expectations, right? And I think it's so funny because people are like, Realm Royale is being developed again, and then the same person will be like, so are we getting a battle pass tomorrow? And I'm like, what?
Yeah, what? I'm getting asked literally 20 times every day when the update is coming. Like no kappa.
Yeah. And I'm like, guys, we can't, like, that's not the conversation we should be having right now. if money is the first like conversation, if battle pass is the first conversation, skins are the battle pass conversation, like that's we fucked up somewhere, guys. Like,
yeah, but honestly, just like the fact that there's like legit hope now again, like while playing the game, it instantly makes the game so much more fun to me. Like I'm just honestly enjoying playing the game now again, because in my mind it's like, okay, nice, this is actually gonna improve now. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, it is, and it's gonna be crazy to see how much the player base just kind of like skyrockets again. Back when people like have fixed servers, right? And people are gonna be like, holy shit, the servers are fixed. What is the next step, right? And so, Ambergler, great to see you, by the way. But guys, give it up for Lonnie. We're gonna talk about, I mean, Lonnie, you can pretty much run the floor. You're gonna just talk about what
we have so much to talk about, man. Quick, just because you talked about player numbers coming back up, I legit think your idea was like removing duos and squads to like get like a more dense player base as well, as like the smaller map can like actually like skyrocket the growth again, because like then it's gonna feel like, oh shit, the server is actually full, you know? Like, because we're gonna get that initial boost 100% after the update, like even without any advertisement or anything. And then like suddenly the servers are full, you know? And suddenly the game is like really fun to play, plus there's new stuff. And I think like that would be like the best start ever for like updating the game again. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. I think there's gonna be a little bit of a blowback. All right, again, we need a PTS to train to test all of this
100%.
stuff. Yeah, first thing is always servers though. Like servers. You can't expect players to give feedback. You can't expect players to like really play your game if the servers are just can't contain it, right? For sure.
Yeah, 100%. I legit think that the RAM servers are probably the worst servers I've ever seen on any game ever. Like, especially like for such a long time, you know? Like usually stuff like this gets fixed pretty fast. So, but it's actually crazy that so many people just stick through all of this. And
it is actually, like, we've talked about how Scavengers came out, that died. Hood came out, that died. And so it's nuts to me how many games have come out. Cursed came out, and it was by Cuisine Royale. So many third-person games have come out and just absolutely
it's a tough market, man. It's a tough market, but Realm is like, it's so special. Like I can't name a single person that played both Realm and Fortnite, for example, and it's like, oh yeah, Fortnite is a better game. It's always like other issues, like servers, no updates, a crazy amount of bugs. Those are the things that turn people off Realm, but it's never been the gameplay, like never from the start. Like literally 2018 game came out. It was the height of Fortnite, and Ninja said, I would switch to this game right away, you know? Like, everybody liked the game so much, and it has so much potential. And I'm so glad that finally someone made the move to, you know, like work on it again, because I think it's really worth it.
Yeah, and it's fair to call out the mistakes made in the past, right? And so you look at Shroud, you look at Ninja, what they said. They were like, hey, you know, Realm Royale was an ability-based class fantasy battle royale, right? And that was awesome. That was amazing. And then they got further and further away from that. You know what I mean? And
6-man squads, no classes, no weapons in the Forge. Nice.
Yeah, and so if history teaches us anything, guys, it's like I've often said that, like, I don't know how to succeed, but I know what failure and I know what mistakes look like, right? Like the burning pillages of wreckage behind me. I always say, like, I know not to make those mistakes because I've seen those mistakes, right? And that's not to say I'm going to be successful or everything that I advocate or like, it's going to be the right choice, right? But I don't know what not to do, right? We know not to remove classes. We know not to increase the cooldowns by 80%. We know, we know not to do that anymore, right? And so hopefully
For sure.
whoever takes up this position will have a healthy respect of the history of the game and being like, oh yeah, let's not do that for sure. Lonnie, what do you want to talk about first, buddy?
Okay, so first of all, like obviously we can't go like really crazy here with ideas and be like, oh yeah, it would be cool to have like 10 maps or something, But like, I want to talk, if possible, like in any subject, about like a budget version that's like really realistic, and like then like a version that would be like best case if we had like free resources, just to like also show like what could be possible in a perfect world, and then like try to get like the perfect mix, if possible.
Yeah, so for the low cost, high impact, or I think it'd be really good for both the players and high res, because high res needs to set the expectation, right?
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, right, the first couple months, right, whether or not the team is being onboarded, whether they're hiring the designer, whether I get the job, whether all that kind of stuff, the first couple months of them going to be a very slow, very methodical, because here's the deal. They can't make a lot of mistakes again.
No, for sure not.
The margin of error that the team has in order to inspire confidence, right, is so
low. Yeah, for sure.
And really, they need to work on their voice. Like, what is the voice? How do they talk to you, the community? How do they talk to you, the consumer, right? It's going to be something that they have to establish from the very baseline. And then, again, it starts with servers. It starts with a little bit of a balance tweaks. Lonnie, I watched your videos that you were doing. Lonnie's doing a series about, like, what, like, hey, Realm Royale's back. What does that mean, right? And it was funny because you talked about balance, and everything that you said, like, I agreed with. Then I watched Flexes, and I agreed with that. I watched Glocks, I agreed with that. I think
it's just because like we all played the game so much, like we see the same obvious like shit that's happening, right? Like I guess after like 2 years or like 1.5 years or whatever of like trying out pretty much everything in the game, like over and over, like I'm pretty sure we all pretty much know all the things that we need to know, like looking at fire axe and stuff. Or that we need a buff, looking at crossbow, alum rifle, Like, we know the things that just feel like they're in a really bad spot. And I think those things are actually pretty easy to fix, like the major balancing issues that we have at the moment.
Yeah, I've often advocated, like, yes, the fire axe is overpowered. Yes, the firestone spear is overpowered. Yes, the bow is a little bit too strong, right? Especially if you nerf the other two.
Exactly. I think the biggest issue is, like... if we just go ahead now and nerf the axe, nerf the arbalist maybe, nerf the stones, like bow is already right now like pretty much an S tier weapon. Like it can easily compete with the axe warrior and all the strong builds. And if we nerf everything else into the ground, it's gonna be the only thing back at still at the top, That could be an issue.
And it's one of the weapons that like scales so well with good players.
I don't think it's a huge nerf though. I don't think so. But like just a slight adjustment.
I don't disagree with you. I think right now you remember the fireball shotgun meta where it was like somebody come around the corner, you would fireball and shotgun, you would instantly delete somebody.
That's like longbow headshot plus blast arrow. It's pretty much still in the game. Yeah.
Exactly right. And so you ran into that issue again. And I don't want to kick anything in the dick. I don't want to like destroy it. But like, okay, that's again, you're finding that mirrored in that kind of play style for sure.
Yeah, I think honestly, exactly that issue is probably just the blast arrow talent. And I actually have a really good idea to like fix all of these kinds of issues, and which would just be to like have the talents that are like on both the weapons and like the abilities to actually just be effects. Like they can be cool stuff, but not just straight up damage. I think that just makes it really unhealthy for the game, and you pretty much don't have a choice. For example, let's look at the X. Like I'm playing warrior, so I'm running around with a 20% X damage. Like I'm not gonna get what's it called, game grover, and I just feel like I said this as well in my video series, I just want all the classes to just start out passively with getting the 20% damage buff, okay? And then like we can focus on actually having fun talents equipped to like the 3 different weapons, and like the 3 different abilities. This way we can actually make a choice that just affects gameplay without like buffing up the damage. It's pretty boring in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about talents and how they kind of work into the mix. But so skipping ahead to balance, how would you feel about the elements being removed in general? Because in my opinion, and this is just hypothetically speaking, Chad, since elements have been a holdover from the original patch, right? And so back then you could get a fire sniper rifle, you get a lightning sniper rifle, you get an ice sniper rifle. I don't want elements removed entirely out of the game. I think they could come back in the form of a kit or a buff or something along the lines like that. But they've always, throughout the history of Realm, they've always caused issues with the balance and state of the game, right? Whether it was the fire shredder, the poison pistol, the fire axe, currently the fire stone spear. I think it would be interesting to play a PTS where all elements are taken out of the game, and then we can now look at a baseline as far as, because it's just muddying the pool as far as what is balanced and what is unbalanced.
Yeah, first of all, I wouldn't mind it. You know, like I don't think it would take away any of the fun really of the game. I do ever feel like it's in general like a cool aspect. You know, like just getting this. It just feels good thematically. I think just getting this lightning buff or frost buff or fire buff. But at the same time, like they're obviously very unbalanced. Like fire is so much stronger than the other two. Like frost used to be strong with the 50%, but now I really can't really tell the difference of like getting frost on someone or not. And yes, obviously it's just like an extra challenge for balance. I don't think it's completely impossible to balance this. Like I don't know how much damage does like the fire element do on the X, for example, like 100 or something. Like we could just take away 100 damage, you know, and you would still have the feeling of like the fire element, but it wouldn't actually be there. So you know, like you could like work around this as well, but I don't think it's necessary to have it in the game for sure.
Yeah, so the fire axe plus 20% from the baseline talent plus the damage ruin is sitting at 1,232.
Yeah, like it's no question that the axe like hits for way too much. Like no question.
Yeah, it is, and it's just, again, I think bringing back elements in a fun, unique way. We've talked a little bit about Raven. Thank you so much, David. We've talked a little bit about we're going to talk about the Shaman, right? Because that's something we wanted to talk about. You mentioned how talent should actually be both a thematic change and a gameplay change, right?
Yes.
So we used to have the totem into the game, right? And so in a world where we did have a Shaman, chat, I would say the elements is a perfect way to bring that into the Shaman's kit, where, you know, if you're going to be more of a healing Shaman, we'll be like, okay, I'm supporting my team. We've got some fun, unique kits to that. I throw down a totem. It heals very much a la like it used to do. Now, if I want to be more of an offensive or more of a utility-based Shaman, I throw down a totem. It grants my allies an elemental effect for like 5 seconds, right? That's, in my opinion, a fun kit that is both unique, but also, you know, similar in the sense of you're getting those elements back in a way for like 5 seconds or whatever.
How exactly would you approach it? Was a talent or like actually, was a talent?
Yeah, so it would be talent. It would be talent. That way we kind of double down on the idea is that those talents are changing the way the actual ability works, right?
But, yeah, I like that a lot, but quick question. Would that mean that you have like a separate talent, like one that like gives you healing, one that does this buff you said, or are you gonna have 3 different talents for like ability, for example? Or?
So we are really constrained. Like I would say, when I say we, I say, again, this is hypothetically, Chad. This is whatever high risk.
You'll get the job.
So yeah, the confidence. So
yes,
totem by, oh my god, I just spit out. So totem baseline would heal, and then the talent itself would change it to more of an offensive talent. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah,
so
that's good.
The baseline would be like, okay, totem heals you, right? And then I hate the way the talents work right now, where it actually hides both power and effectiveness behind an arbitrary leveling system, right? I would just argue that just unlock everything from the very beginning. I know DeFran was playing it, and Kefri was playing, and he came back and he's like, dude, it sucks that I can't craft a sniper rifle, and I have to use a shitty heirloom rifle, and I feel so underpowered. Yeah, and that's horrible for new players, right? It is a horrible feeling. In a world where high risk doesn't have enough like resources to redo a talent system and whatever, I would advocate to say give everything to everybody and And again, guys, we're just like way far in the future as far as what a shaman
Yeah.
does and stuff like that. It was just an example of bringing elements back into the game, right? Lonnie, you mentioned how, you know, a buff system, whether it's, you know, a shrine or something along the lines of, you've played MOBAs, you played Dota. Roshan is a risk reward element to the game, right? You, when somebody does Roshan, like the team that does it obviously puts themselves at risk, right? But the reward is going to be worth it, right? So elements is going to be another way potentially that could factor
Yeah,
back.
I see that. I see that. That's cool. Like the only thing I would be afraid of if we add, like, let's say like a shrine, for example, where we have to go to a spot on the map to actually get this, is if this would like split up the players on the map more. I think the main idea behind Forages, apart from getting loot, is like, oh yeah, I see smoke, I know there's an enemy there, can I reach it? You know, like, can I kill this guy? And I think, like, if we do something like this, it should also be like visible in some way to the other players, you know, so they can actually like intervene somehow. Unless,
Gotcha. So,
you know.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about Forge is the fact that they billow smoke, right? And it's a call to action, right? With Roshan, or whether it was League of Legends, whether it's Dragon, you usually have it warded, so it causes those moments of fun, impactful gameplay, because, you know, it creates those conflict, right? So what you don't want is people spread out all over the map doing different things, like fucking off and whatever, and then suddenly everybody's like, all right, time to fight or whatever. I can understand that. I can understand that. Definitely that mentality for sure. Swinging back over to balance though, the Arbalist with the headshot. So again, we talked about the sniper rifle having a 50% increase on headshot damage, and the Arbalist having a 50% damage increase. Like, going to talents, I hate those talents. You know what I mean? I hate those talents, because at the end of the day, it doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel rewarding. It doesn't feel anything. It's just a stat stick at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I propositioned to my community, like, what sounds better, a 50% damage increase on headshots, or with the reduced damage of a sniper rifle, landing a shot decreases the reload time by 10%, stacking up to 5 times. If you miss a shot, the buff goes away, right? And you mentioned something a little along the lines of the like the axe, right? In your video.
Yeah.
It's funny that you and Lonnie and I haven't had a conversation before this on the chat, and we both came to that example of a talent on 2 different weapons, right? So he thought, you know, using the axe, right? You know, axe is speeding up. You're landing axes. Your attack speed's going faster. I came to that same exact conclusion, except reloading, right? The idea of, I don't know if you've ever watched Enemy at the Gates, but as he's saying, like the Lord's Prayer, he's like reloading faster and shooting faster and stuff like that. And so the idea is that if you're landing your shots, you're going to start getting that feeling of almost like getting into the zone. You know what I mean? Like, pow, next one's faster, you're landing another shot.
Yeah, I like this so much as well, because it actually is good for good players, you know, and it's not just like it's actually rewarding, you know, to get better. Yeah. And the more you play, the better it's gonna feel, you know.
Yeah. As far as other things that you feel is too strong, what would you say off the cuff?
Okay, we need enough 100% X, 100% Arbalist in my opinion. Fire Stone Staff, it just feels. I think the biggest issue with the Stone Staff is actually that it's so strong with aim assist. Like, if it's somehow possible, I would even say nerf the aim assist on that thing, because I think that's actually the main issue. But also just straight up damage, like at least a little bit, at least like 10% or something. I don't know the numbers, because I don't know how to find the numbers. I have no idea. Dude, when I open my inventory, okay, I see random bars that show me, oh yeah, this is approximately 70% good for range. Thanks, game. Thanks, that's a lot. Like, oh yeah, can we do this, please? Oh my god, be quick. Can we just, like, if we press our inventory, okay, we have like our weapons and everything, just like it is. And there's actually a big room that's just filled with nothing. Why can't we just have, like, hey, yo, Grey Slug Rifle, I don't know, 380 damage? You know, like, that would be pretty nice.
Yeah, I getting a more information to the player is always a good thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Paladins has a pretty good test range, right? And I would almost argue that if you're going to do this tutorial, right, just have a world where you have all the weapons available for you, and you can just stay in the tutorial and just shoot something like that, just to get a better idea.
Yeah, that would be really great. Okay, next nerf. I think the healing totem is way too strong. I feel like it's always ready, like when I play against mages, combined with the saw. Like, they heal, I push them, they saw, and they're just gone, okay? They're like, it takes like, I don't know, like 15 seconds or some shit, it feels like. And they're just gone, and the totem is ready again. They're just healing again. It just feels like these two abilities probably need like a cooldown nerf or something.
Yeah, the fact that the mage can literally soar into Realm Royale 2.0, right? Is they're gone. They're like, I'll see you in the next horde. And I'm like, okay, goodbye. And that feels bad for sure. That does feel bad. And then as far as the totem goes, it's funny because older players, we call it the totem, right? With the healing station.
Yeah, healing station. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. To me, thematically speaking, again, guys, this isn't a world where you have like 2 stages here. Like, do we change the mage in stage 2, or like what can we do in the meantime for stage 1? From a stage 2 perspective, Lonnie, I would say it's thematic to the mage to have like potions, right? Whether it's a healing potion, whether it's a mana potion, whether it's whatever. In a world where we could do mage 2.0, right? I would say the hookah has never made sense. Like, what is the healing station? Is it a hookah? What is it?
I have no idea, man.
Like, so you know what I mean, Chad? Like, is it like is people just token up? Like I don't know what it is, right? And I don't blame the developers for putting it in, right? Because they're like, they had a totem and they're like, okay, well let's just get something. Chat, is it a hookah? Like I'm asking you, Twitch chat. Is it a hookah? I don't know what it is, all right? Is it we're just feeling better? But so I would advocate here for let's take the healing potion and give it to the mage and make it like more of a mage healing potion, right? Because the potions make sense thematically. And I think it's really fun to like, you see your teammate and you chuck a potion at him, and it feels good to like aim at somebody with a potion and hit him with a healing potion. Like, fuck yeah, I hit that potion.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then through talents,
probably buff it
though. Yeah, you'd probably have to buff it. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's on a pretty low cooldown in general. But I would say through talents, say, okay, what do you feel about a polymorph potion? Being like, okay, you throw a potion on a longer cooldown that transforms somebody into chicken for like 1.5 seconds.
That's cool. That's cool.
Taking away a person's ability to use their character is always iffy, right? But
probably not like a chicken in like, okay, if I kill a chicken, he's dead, right?
Oh yeah, no. It would just
yeah, okay. That would be a little strong.
Yeah, no. All right, we killed him while he was a chicken. We fucking GG boys. GG boys. But no, just turning him into a chicken for like 1.5 seconds, right? So they still have an ability to move around or whatever. But again, they're effectively silenced pretty much. And that's the kind of like gameplay that I would potentially want to see out of a like Mage 2.0, right? On top of getting rid of Soul Gust, we'll talk about that as well. But that's the kind of stuff that gets me really excited, right? Because thematically taking abilities that are in the game and adding them to the characters that need to have what is a mage, right? The hookah doesn't make sense, but a mage having potions, Jesus, there's already a mage skin that has potions on its hip. So
yeah, wasn't that supposed to be like the alchemist or something? I thought.
Sorry. Just to answer. Well, so we've talked a little bit about balance, though. That is something that you guys have to like think of your framework, right? If we're adding something into Realm Royale, there's a cost associated, right? And so making a brand new ability, brand new weapon, brand new whatever, it's going to cost Bob multiple hours, right? Taking something from Paladins, then there's so much new content in Paladins. I advocate both you, Lonnie, and everybody else to look to Paladins for its inspiration for the new classes, new abilities, new content, because there's just so much, and we'll get into it. But Paladins is a treasure trove, and to an extent, you also have Smite. And again, I don't know if Smite has the 1-to-1 conversion that Paladins does, but I do know there has been things from Smite in particular that have been brought over to Paladins. So,
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So sorry, keep going with what you feel like is a little bit too strong.
Okay, in a hypothetical world, okay, where like we do what I said earlier with like giving every class the 20% basic damage plus the cooldown reduction talents on the abilities by default, so they can actually choose talents that change how abilities work. We have to nerf the cooldowns as well on the spells, but that's like in a hypothetical world again. Yeah. So I don't know how deep you want to get into that one, you know, because
yeah. So you brought up a good point in your video. It's like, how do you make a warrior should always be stronger using the axe versus a
exactly.
assassin? And this is something that comes up a lot is from players that are like, hey, Thor, I don't like the fact that every class can use every single thing, right? And there's really two trains of thoughts here. I'm more on the camp here where classes should have advantages. Like, so if I'm a warrior, I should always have an advantage using the class weapon, and I should also have the use of talents, fun, interesting gameplays afforded only to the warrior if I use the class weapons, right? However, if you limit the ability for we've all seen it before play out where I'm playing a hunter, you're playing a warrior, you're against me, and I have a teammate that is also a warrior, right? And I have a flare, I switch out the heal my teammate, switch back to the flare, and be able to open up those gameplay styles, right? It's not going to be as strong as obviously the warrior's heal, right? But locking players into only being able to use what the class gives them has benefits and negatives, chat. On one hand, you always know what a warrior is going to bring to the table. You always know what a warrior is going to bring to the table because, like, okay, the warrior has X, Y, and Z, right? However, you also stifle the fact that you're going to be locked into a play style. You can't be able to react to a different experience, right? Let's say the zone is in a position where sniping is going to be very beneficial to you. As a warrior, you're just stuck there with a dick in your hand. You're like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I don't like what am I going to do? And it's not great. It's not awesome. It's not like I can't react to the ever flowing movement of the game. And I don't think it's worth it. I generally don't think it's worth it. I think we can spice up the game. I think we can spice up the talents, make it so the warrior is always better using axes, as an example, while still giving the ability for a warrior to switch to a sniper rifle and be able to take that. Like, okay, I need to snipe now. I need to do that one.
Yeah. Also, another thing to this is like, I mean, we had this in the past, right? So I had situations where I would kill like a warrior early game, let's say, and he somehow managed to get like an X, and I killed him with like an SMG or something, and now I can't pick up his X, and it just feels really bad, you know? I feel like obviously the X should be better even for me in that situation because I have like starting loot only, and it's a shame if I can't make anything out of this kill other than like a couple shards.
Yeah, and when a class is underpowered or underutilized, and the ability to like grab gear is going to be so one-sided. Like if let's say this happened in patch 5, where nobody was playing the hunter. I think it was the hunter that was the underpowered class because they just got done nerfing everything about the hunter, and they didn't like kind of bring it back up. And nobody was playing the hunter, and then so hunters weren't getting enough gear to like go into late game, right? And so people were like. And so that was a side effect of limiting the amount of people. Now, granted, Forages kind of alleviate that a little bit because you can upgrade your stuff or whatever. So that is a new instance. But yeah, in general, I just caution people wanting to. They look back at old school Realm Royale and they only see the positives, right? And there are good things about old school Realm. There is like I love the armor pieces. There was good things about it for sure, but there are some legacy things that just weren't good. The fact that chests used to lock the game for the first 45 seconds. The fact that chests were... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly believe that, even if it sounds strange because we had so much time like in this patch and everything, but I honestly believe that just gameplay-wise, like not looking at the servers, like the lack of events, everything around it, I don't think Realm has ever been in a better state than right now. Like even balance-wise, like we're done with the bold stuff patch, we're done with so many weird things that we had in the past. I didn't like chicken trophies. I actually personally didn't like the armor pieces too much because I felt like I would like to hear your opinion on this, by the way. But I felt like when the armor pieces were around, like all I was doing was looting the whole game because I would never be at max health, if I don't find 4 gold armor pieces, and then I would be at a very huge disadvantage against anyone that did manage to find 4 legendaries, And I feel like that's maybe a little bit too loot heavy.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't even know if the game has the capability anymore of armor pieces. I talked about this. You know what I mean? So because with all the skins, the wings.
Yeah, true. All the wings and everything, right? Like how are you gonna do that?
And I don't know if the game actually has the hooks anymore for armor pieces. So it could all be a mute point. I don't know. I think there's a middle ground between armor pieces and ruins. I know everybody jokes with me in chat about that. Right now, ruins, where I think kind of a letdown. I think in general the game feels amazing when you have all the runes, but
Yes.
it doesn't. I don't think it was the impact, and I think it was what they did with the amount of resources that they had, and I think in that world it kind of made sense. But
Mm-hmm.
runes in general were kind of to let down. I think it's weird. I was talking about this earlier, but I would love to play a PTS where every character has the runes baked in outside of the weapon damage rune, right? But you have passive lifesteal, you have passive armor regen, you have all of your cooldowns effectively legendary in the sense of like, because it's late game, right?
Okay.
Everybody would be up. And then you have the movement, ability, and the other cooldown just already put on your character. What does that feel like, right? What does that feel like? Go ahead.
So my guess is you don't like the runes because of balance reasons, right? Because like someone that finds like repair, weapon damage, reload speed, headshot damage is gonna be much stronger than someone with chicken runes, right? Or
Yeah. So it's just it's weird because I feel like the game feels much better. Like for instance, using a heroic leap with the when you have the movement cooldown. Like so, we're using the runes as a crutch to make the game feel better in some ways, and when you don't have them, the game feels worse in others. You know what I mean?
what do you think? For example, like if we had free choice about which runes we would forge. Like if there would be a rune tab and you could choose, like you could just forge whatever you want, and you wouldn't start more powerful than you would right now, but there would obviously be like way less RNG about this, and you could actually build your character in the game and get stronger and have more reasons to keep forging other than just getting your class weapon on the first forge.
Potentially, I would just say, are you adding something into the game for the sake of adding it, or is it generally a better experience? And so, what I mean by that is, if you've ever had a white heroic leap, it's 30 seconds. You know what I mean? It's 30 seconds, and then it sucks. It's like holy shit. But then you take then you find a movement rune, right? And that 30-second cooldown goes down to again 22, and the game feels better when you have that as for like a white, right? You could try it, but I just think it's adding systems instead of just taking them out and saying, okay, the abilities feel much better with lower cooldowns. So let's
I get your point. Just real quick to that. I think the biggest benefit runes gave us is that there's something to do for us to do after the first two forges. I feel like before runes were in the game, I would forge once and then I would do nothing on the map. I would like go to the zone and try to kill people, and I would have nothing to do to get better at the game apart than maybe getting a couple armor potions. And I feel like because runes are in the game, I feel like I'm consistently like getting stronger through the game by forging. And I think that like keeps pushing players actually to the forges, and that's why you get all these fights in a mid to end game actually. So that's why I personally like the idea of progressing through the game, and I don't really see a different way to do this other than runes for the moment.
So you're not wrong. I mean, there is something to be said about battle royales. You're effectively getting stronger as time goes on, dragging people to those forges, artificially creating these encounters, right? Again, I would say, well, okay, well, how do you feel about legendaries, like slowing the game down a little bit, right? You can never get the chance to, you can never like forge a legendary weapon right off the bat, right? You have to use the forges in order to upgrade your weapons, right? What would that feel like on a PTS, right? It slows the game down. It makes people go to the you no longer can get class weapons out of chests as well. I mean, I don't like the fact that people are getting legendaries out of the.
Yeah, I think legendary is too much for sure.
And then you say, okay, well, if I forge a weapon, I get an epic, and then I have to go to the forge again, whether it's for my other weapon, whether it's for getting upgrading and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would definitely like do exactly this, right? Like you would actually have to go to another forge at least.
Yeah, and I think there is something very special about the forges. You're not wrong. You're not wrong in that sense, where you're creating those artificial encounters where people see the smoke, they drag and leaning a little bit heavily on the fact that like, okay, well, starting off with epics and then you go to legendaries, right? And I think that might be it. And the game just feels, in my opinion, so much better with those lower cooldowns when you have those movement ruins associated with it. Even when I play with. Even when I do the get the movement buff, movement speed. I'm like, this feels fun. This feels a little bit better. Like, I don't know whether what it is, but like I get the movement speed and it just feels fun, right? And I just like
it does.
I would much rather run at this speed most of the time than not. You know what I mean? And so it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting theory. But so I think generally the community would say runes need to be looked at, and then how does that play into the flow of the game for sure?
Yeah, looked at 100%. Like I personally wouldn't be too much against removing him either, but as I said, I really like that it's forcing people to forge. Like there could be different approach as well. We don't need like a rune tab where you could forge every rune. We could also make like a rune talent maybe, just like, hey, first rune you forge is always gonna be this, and then you can choose one of all of them, for example. Just as like different ways to like try to balance runes without like I think it's way too much RNG the way it is right now. Exactly as you said, it feels so much better to have a specific rune than not to have it. For example, I play Assassin. My life is amazing when I have reload speed, but my life is really bad when I don't have it, you know?
But they dicked reload speed so hard where now it feels bad. Like it feels so bad. Like, and then Assassin just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And when I have reload speed, it's still bad, but at least it's a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like
100%.
getting a Band-Aid ripped off and then like putting it back on. You're like, well, thanks for ripping the Band-Aid off, guys. You know what I mean?
I really like your idea for the reload talent. Like I think that's probably exactly what we need for Assassin Sniper Rifle to be a little bit more viable. I don't think Sniper Rifle is in a bad spot in total. Like I think it's really good for the Mage as a secondary, for the Warrior, you know. But like it shouldn't be stronger for them 100%. It already does what it should do. But on Assassin, like this is your main weapon, right? So like you should get like a talent that makes you like legit better with it than the other classes, you know.
Yeah.
So I think reload speed is the way to go.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you on that one. So, you know, it's funny. I've had people talk about this multiple times, but how do you guys, in this goes for chat, we've talked about turrets so often. Turret lived its whole entire life being a meme, and then they in patch 8 they did allow you to do 2 turrets. I've had a lot of console players talking about how turrets are just overpowered. Then I've had a lot of like good players be like, what's up? Turrets. And so it's a fire and forget. It doesn't take a lot of skill and all that kind of stuff. But I'm generally curious what you guys think about. Like, to me, it's just like it's easily countable. I shoot one, I shoot the other, and then the guy doesn't have an offensive ability.
You asking me or chat?
Both. I mean, both, Lonnie. Like
I don't mind it being the game. I think it's very easy to counter, and people that use it do not have a normal actual offense ability that does something. And if you once you understand the basics of the game, you're probably not gonna lose to anyone with a turret. And at the same time, I think some people are probably gonna enjoy playing it. And I don't think. I mean, it's a little bit annoying to play against it because you lose some armor, but it's so minor that I don't think it needs to be removed or anything. I think just keep it as it is. Some people might like it.
Yeah, I just one thing that I get a lot of feedback oftentimes, and I don't know whether it's the aim assist not being able to like target the turrets, whether they have a little bit too much health, it's just interesting. And then the cooldown gets about 7 seconds, and so you can theoretically get 3 turrets out. You know what I mean? Whereas like you have one, you have another one, then another one gets killed, then you can instantly replace it, right? And then so maybe that's the one of the issues there. I don't know. I'm just generally that's something I
just shoot all 3.
Yeah. Turret player equals trash player. My lord, leave him alone. 8 turrets on a full squad becomes the major issue with turrets.
Oh yeah. Oh, that could be funny though. That could be funny.
Oh man, that is a lot of turrets, dude. That is a lot of turrets for sure.
I've seen this once in like in Autumn Fields in the Forge. Like there's this like bugged spot on the entrance where you can actually like somehow like stand on a wall. I went in the Forge and it was legit exactly as you said. 4 people with turrets up there. It was so funny, dude. I was dead in an instant, but I laughed for like 20 minutes, dude.
That's good. Do you want to keep talking about classes? Do you want to balance, or what do you want to go next, buddy, in this conversation?
How about like some like real quick, because I know it's like there's obvious things that need to happen, like server fixes, etc. Okay. Let's just name like all these like big things that really like we absolutely need to get worked on. I think like servers are 100% like the biggest priority. Like, yeah, like if they want the game to go anywhere, I think that's the way to go. Your opinion, probably same, right?
Yeah, no, that's number one. That has to be number one.
It had 100%.
Yeah, 100%. It has to be the first thing that go. You know what I mean? And even over the bugs, even over the balance, all that kind of stuff. Turrets.
Yes.
I mean, even over turrets, even over that, it's servers are number one, right? Because you don't. They're causing a lot of like cascading effects as far as people often talk about hitboxes being too big, right? And they're like the hitboxes are really wonky or whatever. I've had instances where like I'm the only person in game, or like maybe there's one left. I'll shoot a sniper rifle and I will miss somebody. I will miss somebody by like a hair, right? And I'm like, well, that's weird because the hitboxes are so big. Normally, I can shoot people behind trees. Normally, I can like shoot people behind like walls and stuff like that. But then there's also instances of where like I will miss somebody where I'm like, how did I miss that shot? Like in a world where and so there is a discrepancy here where is the server tick rate, lag, whatever, if somebody's like going back and forth or moving, is it causing the hitboxes to be kind of bigger, or the perception of bigger than they actually are? My point is that servers being in the state that they are is causing not only balance issues, but also like perception issues with the game as well. So it has to be the first thing. It has to be the first thing that we figure out as far as just, again, hypothetically, chat. I'm not high res, but it has to be the first thing.
Yeah, I mean that was actually my second point. I don't think it desperately needs a fix, but I would personally like a little bit tighter hitboxes. I think, I mean, like high-res likes having big hitboxes in the game for sure. Like it makes it a little bit more casual, the game. But at the same time, I feel like it would benefit the game a lot. Like I think it would be like, I think having a competitive scene for a game is always like really good. If it's like, it doesn't have to be like in the form of tournaments or anything, just like for ranked and stuff. And I think people would really like if the hitbox is a little bit smaller.
So do you want the hitbox to be smaller or the projectiles to be smaller, right? Because those are both two sides of the same coin in a sense. Is it maybe 10% off each of them? You know what I mean? Like so that's the way you kind of have to think about it. Because like Splitgate, the projectiles are very small. So it's interesting, right? And that's a question that I would give to the community. Do you want the projectiles to be smaller or the actual characters' hitboxes to be smaller? You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I don't know the right word.
I have no idea. Like I just want it to be a little bit harder to hit in most cases. Especially like not these behind trees hits. You know, I know you said like it might 100%, or it probably is 100% also because of the servers, but there's also like situations where someone's literally just sitting behind a tree, and I know I can hit him, and I shoot, and he's not moving, and I hit, you know? I think,
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be definitely looked at for sure. There's console players as well, and I think those hitboxes do a lot of good in the sense of evening up the player field, right? And this, so we can't go like super hard in the other direction. But it definitely needs to be something that needs to be looked at.
It doesn't have to be like a big change or anything, you know. Like, also, I think this might be more work than some of the other changes we talked about, but I have no clue, to be honest. But I don't think, again, it's like a desperate change we need. I think we would be super happy if we just got like stable servers, and then like shooting and everything would feel much better already. I think that would like make people happy for the start for sure.
But another thing is tick rates, right? I don't know what high res does on tick rates and all that kind of stuff. But that'd be an interesting kind of like look into for sure. And anti-cheat. That's funny. But yeah, you know off the top of your head?
Oh yes, oh yes. I didn't even write this down. Yes, 100%. Anti-cheat, man.
That is nice. I mean, look at Activision. They can't even like get their shit together when it comes to anti-cheat.
It's everywhere at the moment. I don't know why this has become such a big issue. Like, I feel like in the past this was way less of a big deal than it is right now. Like Apex, you get hackers all the time. Warzone, hackers everywhere. I feel like it's so common nowadays in every game. It's crazy.
It's because small peepees are just getting so much more common, dude. I'm telling you, it's not good, chat. Imagine waking up in the morning and peeing all over your pants right when you go to the bathroom, and then what are you gonna do? You're gonna get online and play some video games and cheat. It's how it happens.
Man.
It's just how it happens, everyone. They're getting smaller, chat. It's something in the water, dude.
It's crazy. Last time I played customs, I think like last week or something.
Yeah.
Every single game, and I'm not over exaggerating, every single game I had like 2 to 3 cheaters in the game every time, and it was new people. I kicked the other ones, like opened up their profile so I'd see when they change names, And I would have new ones in there all the time, literally every game. It's crazy.
And this isn't the solution. Like, guys, again, this isn't the solution, but there are community members that have gone above and beyond, that have proven themselves over the course of the last 3 years. You know what I mean? That is
Yeah.
that I trust the community trust, right? They should be empowered with a white glove service, or a, you know, they call them champions or white knights. And they, again, if I am working on the product, they say, Thor, here's a 30-second clip of somebody like cheating or whatever. I give that over to support. They instantly ban, right? There shouldn't be a long drawn out process right now.
Oh my god, I have a video idea.
Like, if you have the thing next to your name, right, and like if you ever abuse it, I will take it away from you and ban your account. But those people should have just bam, you know what I mean? Like, hey, there we go, bada bing, bada boom, and hardware ban.
Really good solution, especially for customs. Okay, how about we just give people the option to permanently ban someone, like any account they want from their custom games. So these people, even if they change names, which is super fucking annoying right now to deal with, they just can't rejoin my lobby. If I kick them once, they can't rejoin. I mean, right now they can't rejoin the same lobby, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
That'd be nice,
no, I don't. More custom based options, especially for tournament play and all that kind of stuff. Like that's a given. So Juju made custom games like in a weekend or a week, he said, and then he obviously left to go work on Fortnite and all that kind of stuff. God bless him. But he did a lot of work there for sure, but he didn't do it in a lot of time.
I feel like generally customizable customs would be really fun, you know? Like, you want to play crossing only? Okay, like literally put the zone where you want it, you know? Like, if we had some options to play with there, that could be so fun. Like, even with cooldowns, with everything, you know? That'd be really nice.
Switching gears a little bit, let's talk about, I mentioned it before, but I want to throw this at you. The player base is not big enough to support, in my opinion, 3 different game types, whether solo, duos, and trios, coupled with the fact that there's multiple environments like EU and A. I don't know if you've seen what I've said before, and I know this is kind of radical and players get really uptight about this, and I understand that.
Remove duos and squads.
Yeah, remove duos and remove squads, have solos and trios, have trios, try to balance out where it's, you know, half duos, half trios, because again, if you're the only duo going into trios, I can understand why you would feel like frustrated with that, right? But in a world where we have, you know, 2,000, 3,000 players playing our game at max, condensing the queues to be solos and trios, and then making it so the players, you have 60 players in your match at once, is going to make it feel a little bit like old school Realm Royale, right? You're going to see those fights happen more often. You're going to know more often than not you're fighting against real players, and it's going to make the game feel a little bit like old school Realm. Coupled with the map suggestion that I've made, right, where this is what the first circle looks like, and I don't know if you're watching the stream or whatever, this is what the first circle looks like. I get it, guys. You don't want duos to go away, right? But if you're good enough, you can go into duos as a trio and wreck, right? Like, it is the compromise. A good compromise leaves everybody angry, right? But if you're fighting other duos and fighting other trios, I have the utmost confidence in most of you to be just fine as a duo going into trios. You're not duos going into squads, right? And it's about taking the 2 outliers here and condensing them into a compromise that's going to let us fill out the lobbies with 60 players.
Yeah. Great change.
I think that is the compromise here on a PTS. That again, try it out. How does that feel? And especially in a world where the servers are fixed, I think that's going to just make the game feel so much more, along with making the map. This is like, so the map changes actually. I don't know, Lonnie, I don't know if you saw it, but Lonnie, when do you think the first circle starts?
4 minutes and 40 seconds.
You son of a bitch. You saw my notes. Did you really know that off the top of your head?
I was watching a stream. No, you were talking about it. I was like, why is it 4:40, not fucking 5 minutes? Why?
I don't know.
Who's like, nah, we're not gonna, like, someone was like, hey, how about we start the first circle in 5 minutes? He's like, nah.
No. 4 minutes.
4:40. Fuck you.
Yeah. So this is what the map looks like at 7 minutes, and this is what the map looked like at 7 minutes and here we go. What the map looked like at 7 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes and I think 30 seconds is what the map looked like. By doing a map like this in the very beginning, you're still giving those people who are, let's say, newer to the game, right? You're still giving Goblin Guts, Crossing, Valley, Trinity Hills, Jade Gardens outside of the map, and then not starting this zone closure for the first 5 minutes, right? But by taking legendaries, class legendary weapons out of the game, you're going to incentivize chest, right? In the sense, like, you can see chests now, they're good or whatever. But knowing the fact that those legendaries are much harder to come by, especially early game, you're going to create, number one, those artificial moments that we talked about, while also incentivizing inside circles, right? Where people are like, okay, if you're good, you're going to be dropping inside circles. You're going to be getting those fights more often. You know what I mean?
We could highly disagree. It has to be 5 minutes and 10 seconds.
All right, you're right. 5 minutes and 10 seconds. You're right. There it is. All right. Sounds good.
Do I get a raise now?
Oh, you do. You nailed it. So yeah, that is something that I would potentially advocate for. I actually didn't even see that.
One quick opinion though, me quick. First of all, really, I could not agree more. Like, honestly, I think just this change alone would make the game right now like 10 times more fun than it is. But like, obviously we will have to like play around with this and check this out first. But I feel like the end games in Realm Royale in customs are really intense, and in pubs are like, it's so boring. It's only, okay, I have to find the last bot, and you're like running around in circles for 5 minutes trying to find the last robot. I had the situation hundreds of times, like no joke, hundreds of times, and I think you did as well. Everybody did, and I feel like the last couple zones, like they should be removed. There should be like one more zone that like drastically, like a big jump at the end again, so that actually forces everybody. Like, it doesn't have to be a super small zone, but you know what I mean, right? Like actually get all the remaining players into the same spot so we can have like an epic fight at the end. I think it would be really great.
Yeah, so from a competitive standpoint, I don't disagree with you when you get those feelings from custom games. I'm worried about too much whiplash from the average player because they're gonna, in a world like this, and you're going from one extreme to the other, players are gonna be like, why the hell am I losing so often? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, I used to win all the time. Now I don't win any of the times. You know what I mean? And so it's.
I mean, like, if they had a good player in the lobby before, I think they would have lost as well.
That is fair. But they're gonna live probably a lot longer, right? They're not. It's gonna be in a world where you could go to Frozen Cemetery and Lost Forge. Right now, it's gonna be like, holy shit, I'm losing exponentially more often, right? So,
yeah. Especially more like faster as well. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't disagree with you. But I would just say this is step one out of it. And then you gotta say is 60 players the right number here? I don't know. Is it 55? Is it 70? Is it 40? That's a good question though. Yeah. And
honestly, so, even if we were to do this this change of like making the endgame a bit faster, it wouldn't have to be this drastic in any way, you know? Like, I think that's really something we should probably just play around with and see what feels right. Like, there's no right answer right away here, 100%. Sure. Especially if you're already shrinking the map at the start. Like, yeah.
I know there's been a little bit of a kickback, and I agree with this in the sense like right now the zones always end over at a forge, and that's like, I truly believe the forges are some of the best level design in the game, but we've lost some of the magic of like the zone ending over on the dragon's skull, right? And we've lost some of the magic of like it being in here. I don't disagree with you guys. I think it definitely swung too far over the fact that it's now always on forges, right? But yeah, I don't disagree. I don't know how you feel about that, Lonnie, but I feel like more.
Yeah, I can give you my opinion really quick. First of all, I really agree that the forges are the best designs areas on the map, but it's not actually just the forge building. It's like, you like to be in Lumberfall, right? Like, you like to be in Crossing. Like, why not, if we end the zones, like not really end now, but if we end the zones on Crossing, why does it have to be exactly the forge building? I get that it's cool inside the walls, but why not just randomize where it's gonna be in the walls, you know? This way we don't get Ice Elf mages camping in the forges all the time, etc.
I get it. Yeah, there's still also that verticality. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I mean, a little bit more variation. It just kind of swang, like, it went from almost never being on the forge to always being on the forge, and a little bit more, a little bit more.
Yeah, but I also like I understand and like the decision to move it to forges more frequently, just because again they're like the best design spots. But it doesn't have to be exactly the forge building. Plus, I really like these random ends as well. Like, they should be more common as well.
Yeah, and you know what's weird to me? I never see the forges fall on Sentinel Hold and Autumn Fields, or even Graveyard. It's usually either Crossing, Ice Haven, Lumber, and it's just weird. Like I don't Goblin Gold Chat, but it's weird. I don't know if there's actually any. When's the last time have you guys seen it on Graveyard or Sentinel Hold? Like there's weird that sometimes I just don't really see it happen on maybe Frozen Cemetery, but it's very interesting. Very
Yeah,
very
there are though. I think I get this all the time. Sentinel.
Really?
Yeah. I actually personally haven't had Jaguar's Claws in customs in like a couple months at least. I don't know why, but it was a thing in the past. I was very mad about this in the past because there's some really weird spots you can get with the saw, and I always try to ban everyone for my customs that do this. By the way, fun fact. But yes, like sometimes it feels like you're just in this rotation of always ending on the same map. It does not feel random. It feels like okay. Today we're doing 50 crossing endings, you know? But like, yeah, I feel like this is different every day. I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, but that's wrapping stage 1 up, guys. That is kind of like how I see stage 1 happening. Again, guys, this is all hypothetical. Lonnie and I are just sitting down. The position for Realm Royale designer opened up. I'm not working with high res right now. I have an interview set up or getting set up. But this is us having a good dialogue with you guys. It's us having a conversation with some of the people who've been around forever. And not to say that this isn't important for the new players as well. The new player experience is just as important in some ways. And I truly, this is us shooting the shit, guys. This is us. What do you think about
I don't know if I said this real quick before I forget it. You talked about unlocking all talents from the start. First of all, 100% agree. I think that would be the perfect solution. But if they really desperately want to have this like feeling of progression, why not give people the choice which talent to unlock every time they level up? It's like, oh, you level up, 1 talent point. Put in anything you want, you know? This way you wouldn't have to grind like literally 3 weeks to get the Forge Sniper talent at 27, you know? But you could be like, oh yeah, I really want a Forge Sniper Rifle. Boom, 1 level up. I play a couple games, boom, I can get it, you know?
Yeah, I would always say like, what is easier, removing restrictions or adding UI or that kind of stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% remove it would be better. 100%.
In my head, like that's maybe a stage 2 thing, and being able to give more players to the choice, like for sure. But I don't disagree. Like I love the idea of like being able to say, hey players, what do you want out of this? Right? It gives player agency, gives player choice. Yeah, white vibes. We just actually talked about that. We said, I think we both agreed that some of the best end zones are on the forges because of the level design, right? Lost Forge is an amazing level design, right? However, it's swung so far into the direction of it almost always landing on the zones, or if it is on the zone, it's directly over the zone, where I think it could stand to be on some fun POVs like the dragons or the out of the zone and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that it's a little bit of a catch up for you. Yeah, okay, Lonnie, what's the next topic, buddy?
I think we're pretty much done. Unless I would really like to hear about your Shaman class. By the way, I would really like to hear, like, in case you have like like something specific in mind, like a full set.
So this is stage 2 and stage 3, guys. So people often said, "Oh, Realm Royale's coming back. What is the next class? What are we doing to add more hype? What are we doing to add more stuff?" First, before we even get into new classes, I truly believe every class needs a class 2.0, right? Like this is what we've learned. You guys have given us feedback. We are going from beta to launch. This is the new and improved class, right? And I think you mentioned talking about Warrior, right?
Yeah, we can talk about this first as well. 100%. I'm down.
So what world does it look like that every class is improved, made better through the talent systems, very much like we talked about with the assassin? You bring up or tell chat, what do you think about your warrior changes?
Okay, before that, be quick. I think every class should have 3 different weapons that do 3 different things. I feel like, for example, Axe and Hammer, they're effective at pretty much the same range. Obviously, the Axe is way better, but it's not like they're really used in different situations, in my opinion. And I feel like it would be much cooler to have just the basic idea of having a short-range weapon, a mid-range weapon, and a long-range weapon. That's like my basic approach. Yes, we can still have the Warrior as like this very close-range specialist by having the sword as the only melee weapon. Like I don't think that's an issue. But I don't want to have the hammer plus the axe. My opinion, my idea would be to add like something like a javelin, okay, for like a mid to long-range weapon. it would like we don't really have to talk about the weapon exactly if you don't want to, but idea would basically be somewhat faster than a longbow, like less damage, but like it would like fly in an arc. Like obviously it might be hard to design this, you know. This is not like, I don't expect this to happen or anything. I think it would be much easier to take something from paladins or something. But yeah, general idea, long range weapon for the warrior as well. And I wanna do this for all the classes. I wanna have like a short range weapon, mid range weapon, long range weapon. For the assassin, I personally would really like to remove the shredder, okay? And add something like throwing knives, throwing shurikens, like something that really feels like, it feels like you're an assassin, you know what I mean? Like I don't have any feelings towards the shredder. I feel like, yeah, okay, I don't feel the seam of the shredder. I don't know. But okay, if you wanna get specific, we can start with the warrior as well. I can tell me warrior changes.
Just real quick to speak to Slava's point. If you've been with us for a while now, Chad, we are already past stage 1. To come in here and be like, you guys are fucking idiots. Stop talking and fix bugs and servers. Well, if you've literally been with us for the last hour, we've talked how the most important thing here is why are servers so shit. So don't come in here with like, it's not my fault you're late to the conversation, right? We said before anything, you gotta fix the servers. Number 2, before anything else, after that, we can start looking at balance now. We've said the game is pretty good in a balanced spot. There's a little bit of outliers. There's a little bit of outliers here. Let's see how we can, tweak that a bit. And then we've talked about, okay, what can we do with the map and the players and stuff like that in descending order. So to come in here, like kick over a fire truck and then be like, I can't believe you're ruining the game, right? Guys, we are talking about stage 2 and stage 3. You know what I mean? And we just said, especially for stage 2, right? Like we can't. It's not about remaking the hunter. It's not about remaking the warrior. It's about taking what works and then tweaking and the things that we've learned. You know what I mean? This is all hypothetical. This number 1. This is all hypothetical, and this is about taking what we've learned and what we think would make the characters in the warrior in the sense would be better. So, Lonnie, having said that, go flush out the warrior as well.
Okay, I want to add 8 more bugs to the game.
Okay, no, nice. Not 7. Not
hey,
9.
we should honestly make like a list for bugs, like so people can actually start working on it. We need to like write everything down that's wrong. Like that's one thing that I definitely want to do.
That was my thing. So I wanted to make a survey monkey / because I went through like in my head I can name about like maybe 5, 6. Whether it's the potion, you'll drink a potion and then it won't like actually give you the armor and you're like, son of a bitch.
Oh yes.
You've talked about how the bow has bloom, yet I used the purple bow. I was literally trying to use the purple bow. I could not replicate bloom on the purple bow with a drop cursor, because with the drop cursor, obviously you jump and it'll actually bloom up and then it'll bloom back down depending on if you jump. But multiple people said you've had bloom on it, so I believe you. So why is there bloom when it's not showing up on the drop? Is it legendary only? So yes, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Like I totally 100% agree for sure. So why is there bloom? Let's get we have to get a list of bugs.
I think that's too much for right now, and we probably wouldn't find everything anyways.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, but like all my warrior ideas, like that I had in my video, for example, are like all pretty crazy. It's not like just small tweaks. So I don't know how deep you want to get into this, because this is like, first of all, it's never gonna happen exactly this way, okay? And I don't think it's what the game really needs right now. I think I have a couple cool ideas that would make it more fun, for sure.
I'll condense what you said and what I really, really like and what really makes sense, and I'll maybe give you some feedback here. So I from the very beginning, chat, 2.5 years ago, I was like, Hi-Rez, why aren't there abilities on the melee weapons, and why is melee locked behind one class, right? And it's funny, Bloodhunt came out and showed us really what melee can do to a battle royale. If you go back in time and the sword, it was either way too fucking strong, right? And just to give credence to that, chat, check this out. I got something to show you, right? This is what happens when it was too strong, chat. When the sword was just absolutely disgusting. Hold on, chat. I just want to show you something real fast. This is what happens when the warrior was just way too fucking strong. You know what I mean? Look at that ice wall, though. So you were so fast, you hit so hard, and it was one of those experiences where it just wasn't good. It just wasn't good, and no matter how you sliced it, get it?
I mean, to be fair, they were all ultra clueless, and you third party and had no time to react.
They were not good. They were not good. Right?
I'm pretty sure even back then, if you played against a good player 1v1, you know, like without a third party.
Yeah. But remember, that shot used to be 2 seconds on a root. Sword used to automatically passively increase your movement speed, do a lot of damage, and they made the movement speed so fast that you could, like, you know, somebody would blink away and then you'd be like, I'll be there in a second, I'll see you soon, dude, and you're like, what the fuck? And so, and your idea was to give abilities on the right click, because you obviously can't aim down sights with the sword, whatever. And I agree, right? And it's funny how you and I echoed this before talking, was that if you had the sword on the warrior, right? Number one, I don't think melee should be only locked behind one class, and we'll get to that in a second. But you said a dash, right? And there's also a dash in paladins with a Zin on the sword, and that you, by nerfing some of the damage of the sword, but by adding utility, you open up play styles. You have to be able to add utility to the weapon, so it's not a nuke. You can't balance a nuke. If you're just one shot at anybody, you're not a warrior so much. You're just a nuke. So I really liked your idea as far as whether it's you know, throwing the sword, dashing to it, you know, whether it's a dash in general. That's on a little bit like, you know, 5-6 second cooldown. I like that. That makes sense, and it's been proven in other games as well.
Yeah, and it would be also like really fun to play.
Yeah. And so whether it's deflect, right? Whether it's a deflect, so I, through the talent system, I advocated that, okay, we want to change the play style of the sword, right? So what if you, through the sword is baseline, right? You get a baseline dash, but if you go into the talent system, you say you now equip a shield with the sword with a warrior, right? And then by hitting right click, you bring up a barrier, a la, you know what I mean? What's his nuts in paladins, right? Where you can throw up a you know, a barrier for the next, like, you know, 3-4 seconds, right, on a longer cooldown, right? Protecting your chickens as they spawn in, protecting, be that bulwark and all that kind of stuff, being more of a defensive warrior in the sense of where, you know, offensive by default, but if you go through the talent system, you're going to be more of a defensive warrior and be more of your barricade and stuff like that. So you'd have to balance it, chat. I'm not saying this, whatever, but you and I were of a similar mind with putting an ability on the sword in that sense, right? For sure.
Yeah. And like, as you said, like, if you don't just want to have the warrior with a melee weapon, like, this would make sense to just put an ability on all the melee weapons. I think that would be cool.
And then your next thing was axes, right?
Yes.
I floated this before. Right now, with stage 2, something you might be able to do without like a full rework is that if you click the axe once, right, it's a medium range axe that does like 380 damage, maybe 400 damage. The idea is that it's very easy to use. You throw it. It's there's no wind up time. It's just bam, like it's like a medium range slug, right? If you want to bring skill back into a skill shot, treat it like almost like a bow, in the sense where like you start winding it up and then you slow down a little bit, and then if you see somebody out in the distance, then you get to fucking yeet it, and you get rewarded for obviously a much stronger axe throw, and also does more damage, right? And that's the kind of dichotomy there between open door, high ceiling, right? And I know that kind of plays into you know, medium long range, or it's interesting to think of every weapon either being short, medium, or long, but it also kind of is, there's nothing wrong with a warrior being just inherently better at short range and medium range and stuff like that. But that was my proposition for the axe. That way you're not getting like 1,232 damage on those like long range axes that have no really drawback, right? Like you could just chuck axes right now, and there's no, if you get it, cool. If you miss, there's not like you're gonna reload an axe. So that was my theory. What do you think about that?
I personally feel like the axe, especially like with the way it flies, is like pretty much meant for close range. Like, I think, yeah, it's cool if you had long range axes. I don't know what exactly we're talking about here with long range here. Like how far you expect people to throw it.
So I mean, as far as axes go right now, they have a limit, right? But they're like super far out there. I would say, you know, obviously less than a sniper, less than a longbow or whatever, but medium to maybe medium plus distance, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Not super long, but yeah, just along the lines of like being rewarded for like aiming. Like everybody say hi to Zeusy, Zeusy. Yeah, just giving that playstyle, rewarding good players for lining up the axes, throwing it down, and then while also being able to be medium range in the sense of like, okay, these are gonna be a lot easier to hit.
Yeah, I mean for sure, like on long range they would be much harder to hit, so they would fix the solution of it feeling like a no skill weapon pretty much. You know, which is sometimes can feel like in super close range. There's not really any drop, like if you're playing in 5 meter distance, you're just spamming, like you're just throwing out these like insanely big axes that like literally hit you for a third of your health, like every second. It seems a bit. It just seems like fundamentally way too strong at what it does. So I think it. If you could change that and make it this mid-range weapon, then sure, then I think I would like that more than what it is right now. But it might I take that back. I think I like X being short range, but I don't think that would be a bad change for the game if you would make it into a mid-range weapon.
Should I move? Wait, if I throw a axe, should I move to hold it back? So I would almost assume you're being a little bit slower, right? Because you're cocked back and you're moving a little bit slower, right? What you don't want to have is just somebody running around with a cocked axe at the same, like you're just running around like this and be like, all right, the first person I see, I'm just gonna fucking let it wing, right? You gotta have a little bit of drawback in the slowing down. There are other weapons in the game that slow you down as you hold a button down, a la the Gatekeeper. But I'll challenge you this, Lonnieyo. It's a little bit tough, man, because the mace is in a weird fucking spot, right? It doesn't really feel good because it shares so much with the axe, right? And the last one was a javelin. Your suggestion was a javelin, and I like that idea. I do like the idea. How do we make that work? Does a warrior need to be good at long range? Does the axe being able to be drawn back fill that role of being like, okay, he's not going to be good at long range, but he's still, if he hits an axe, it's going to feel hot. It's going to feel awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, my solution to that would actually be that after like, okay, it's hard to tell the exact distances here, like, but after like mid-range, let's say, okay, whatever that is in your mind, like it will drastically drop to the ground, so you cannot use it like as a sniper rifle or as a longbow. It just literally will not fly this far. That'll be my solution to that, and yeah, this way you would have warrior with a weapon that is like medium to like a little bit more than medium range, and you would still have the other two weapons for different purposes. I don't really care about what approach we do here. I just care about not having two weapons that do the same thing, pretty much.
I agree. I agree. And like the mace, the mace has always been, or the hammer's always been this weird kind of like ugly step-headed redheaded stepchild of like balance. Where it's like, okay, because it's faster than the axe, but it does less damage, but it's not that much damage, and if you get a ruin, then like, you know what I mean, but you're still gonna, it's very weird. So I don't disagree with you, right? And I would challenge you, Lonnieyo, to go back into Paladins, find a weapon that might work, or a spear isn't the worst thing. You know what I mean? I generally like, if you're gonna like, it's not like it's a machine gun or something that's so like different. Like it's you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a spear, so right? It's not gonna be the worst thing. So that's definitely something in favor for sure. What about abilities, bud?
Abilities. Okay, I think the one we need to talk about the most is probably charge, because it's so beyond bad. I don't know where to start. Like right now, it gives you very minor movement and pretty much nothing else. Like the talent is like really garbage. I think I like the thing you said earlier, was like adding a shield to it. I would go either with this one or like the opposite, which would be like a strong effect if you hit someone. Like I propose like 1.5 second stun, like complete stun if you charge through an enemy. I think it would be hard to hit, obviously only work close range. And it would be another thing that makes warrior this close range specialist. So like you would feel like, oh shit, the warrior is coming. If he's in a building, he's in front of me, he can just charge through me and I'm gonna be ruined. And at the same time, it's a skill shot as well. So yeah, I would like that. And it's not like you can only get one X out pretty much, right? Like in the same time. And I think it would be cool.
Yeah, the charge has always been an ability, even going back to patch 7, right? So patch 7, you had a legendary effect associated with it. They took the pushback of the conch bomb, added it to the charge, and so you used to charge somebody and whack somebody back like,
yeah, that was also cool.
it was fun. It was funny because you'd knock somebody and then you'd hit somebody in the air. Like, but that knockback mechanic has been seen, whether it's the conch bomb, whether it's the shockwave, right? And so we got to be very careful about homogenizing everything. So with the charge, and this is something to Twitch chat, and I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. And Lonnie, I'm curious to hear what you guys think. How do you feel about stuns, right? Because I personally, I always get very weird with stuns in battle royales in particular. While they're common in MOBAs, they're common in hero shooters, they're common in other things. There's always been this weird faux pas about adding stuns to battle royales, and so I always caution. I'm like, maybe like stun is the one thing that's like, ooh,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
First of all, I really agree. For any normal ability, like a stun would be way too strong, no question. The thing is with the charge, if like you're gonna stun someone, yes, but they're gonna be 180 degrees behind, like behind you. So like it's not like it's not a free shot that you get. You still have to do a flick, like literally exactly to your back. It's not completely free. It's still high skill, and yeah, I generally agree though. Like stuns are like a big no go in BRs for me. Roots come close, but at least you can shoot. But yeah, it's hard to hit this one. So
yeah,
generally agree though.
And then with a and also with the turnaround flick, right? Would that be too hard for console players to pull off regularly? I'm not saying that, obviously we're not saying console players are worse and all that kind of stuff, but do you think that's worth it? Do you think that it's interesting. It's just interesting to turn around flick and getting that to the best of the ability. I don't know if that.
No, I think you're right. I think a bad player could do absolutely nothing with this, and it will probably be an issue. I think that's actually bad then. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it needs to be like an open door, high ceiling, right? And that still gives it a high ceiling in the sense of being able to turn around and get that nasty flick or whatever. But it's just It's interesting to think about that for sure. There's something to be said like a dazed, right, where your character kind of like if you charge through somebody, you know what I mean? They're kind of wobbling back and forth. They're slower, and you've seen dazes in like flashbangs and all that kind of stuff. Maybe in that sense where it's more offensive. You daze somebody, they're like stumbling back and forth. You still have control of your character, but they're obviously it's almost like they're drunk. You know what I mean? So it's definitely interesting, and yeah, it's that kind of stuff that's like okay, let's and don't worry, I'm gonna say stuff about the shaman. You're gonna be like, Thor, you're a fucking idiot, right? And like that's something that needs to be like
we need discussion. We can't just take every idea that we have, right? That's like the whole point. Like we need to think things out. We need to try things out if we get the chance to do it in the future. It's just a way to go about this.
And don't take me as like shitting on your idea. It's
no. Like it's better to find this out now than like if it would be in the game and be like, oh yeah, console players hate this because they can't do shit with this. Like I mean that's the whole point of this, right?
yeah, you have to be the biggest critique of your own idea. Like you'd be like you have to switch great gears and be like, fuck that. Like what? Like I'm just getting stunned and getting ramrodded and fucking the time to kill's too low, so I feel like I'm just instantly dead. You know what I mean? And that's how you get to a point where it's like yeah. So charge is interesting. Definitely charge is interesting. So have you played ROM in Paladins?
I haven't played much Paladins. I'm sorry.
You son of a bitch.
I tried it, but like
no, you son of a bitch. Right. ROM Paladins. Let me show you one second. Okay, ROM character spotlight. So ROM's pretty fun. I don't know if you. So he's got a pretty cool charge mechanic, right? Juggernaut. Here we go. So I don't know if you saw that, but so there's things here. It's not bad, right? And I think that is a little bit more. That's charge 2.0. You know what I mean? Whether that's knocking people higher, whether that's dazing them, whether it's something like that, and that's the kind of stuff that I think now, and it's interesting, Lonnie. I'll challenge you to go through Paladins, look through all of the different things, and be like, okay, what would make sense for a warrior? What could we do here? You know what I mean? And so that's the kind of stuff like that. It'll make you a better designer when you think like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that one was pretty similar to what the old one was then, right? With the knockback.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but except you have a little bit
more
control.
Movement.
Yeah, you have a little bit more control. I don't know what that would look like. I generally don't know what that would look like if you're just like kind of like a football player in the sense. Um, mm, okay. I like charge better as a knockback, knock up, and use similar to conk but cap closing. Burrito, you're not wrong, buddy. But I would. We have to be careful with giving knockback, conk to everything, right? So there's the shockwave currently right now. There is the concussion bomb, right? There is theoretically the knockback was on the charge, and there's not saying we couldn't put it on there, right? But think of when you use something once, like, okay, can I use it again? Now we've used it 2 times. All right, now how do we make it unique, right? Let's not use it 3 times, right? Because now we're starting to homogenize everything. You know what I mean? And at WikiWoo, that was Phantom Mech. Good call out, buddy, on that one.
Oh, I actually had like I have like a different effect that I think could work in Realm without being too overpowered. Like you said, stun is too overpowered. How about a disarm? How about I charge, hit someone, and they can't shoot for like, I don't know, 2 seconds or something, you know?
So disarms are very much like silences in the fact that they're the same thing, right? So if you silence somebody, they can't use abilities or use their weapons. With a disarm, they can use abilities theoretically, but they couldn't use their weapon, right? And so I think disarms are a little bit frustrating for the enemy player, but they're not in the same sense of a stun, right? And so that's what I like. I think that is a bridge that is, you got somebody who's about to finish your ally, right? And you run over there and you disarm them.
Yeah, that's
like,
kind of cool. Yeah,
that's the kind of shit. You're like, oh shit, yeah, fuck yeah, like that. Like I just saved you. Run, get out of here, run. Yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff. Going back to charge just for 1 second though, with the focus being on melee guys, in the sense of like the sword being good again, charge becomes like a knockback on charge becomes a little bit hard because you run into somebody, right? You knock them back, and then you have a sword. You're like, oh fuck, right? So, how do you combo charge with swords or charge with more of a melee focus? Just something I would challenge chat to do. Be like, okay. So yeah. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, disarm. Your disarm idea.
Oh yeah. No, I was done with the disarm. Yeah.
So
I have like yeah.
There is a dragon punch in paladins. Paladins, not Pornhub chat. Paladins. What's the kid's name, guys? Help me out here. The kid's name that has the little gun. He's small. He has a rune, a teleport here. Help me out here. Talus. Thank you, Paladin. Talus. So, what are you putting disarm on, Lonnieyo?
Sorry, what?
How are you? What was the mechanism in which you activate the disarm? Sorry, was it charge or was it something?
It was the charge. It was the charge.
Okay. Tell us two.
It could like we could also put this. Okay, I wanted to remove the net shot. And that's where I put my disarm in. By the way, again I feel like because warrior kind of feels like the very close range class. Why not add like a melee kind of ability to the game? Okay, so I want to charge the enemy and then use my melee ability, perhaps. Okay, and that's where my disarm came in. That's why I thought like yeah.
So the good news is there is something like that in the game right now.
Nice.
Now it doesn't have a the disarm, right? But there is, what is it? So it's kind of like a punch like that.
Yeah, again, I think it would like not work well with the sword if you would push them back. That would literally be kind of bad. But yeah, I would like having a melee ability in the game. It should obviously be strong because it's gonna be much harder to hit than any other ability in the game. And you would possibly even have the combo abilities. You know, like you need to charge to the enemy and then use the melee ability. So I think it could be strong. And I think this arm is strong.
Azan, Swindy makes a good point. There's a new character coming out named Azan as well, which is going to be bringing some more paladin-esque / tank things to the game. That could be really cool to see, for sure. It doesn't knock back. Yeah, so knocking up like a little dragon, almost like a dragon punch from Street Fighter, you know what I mean? Like, that's definitely, like, yeah, I can see that. That's a really good idea. Have you played, there is Tiberius, right? Tiberius. So, in my head, I see we have shielding shout, healing shout, and net shot, chat. I'm like you, have never really enjoyed net shot on a warrior. Thematically, it doesn't make sense. And in my head, berserking shout, berserking rage, you know what I mean? That has always been like a warrior shenanigans, you know what I mean? And I could see so there's already something like this in the game where it's Tiberius, paladins, breakdown. So Tiberius has something where it's he's got some really cool abilities. Like, so it's called combat trance on here, but it pretty much what it does is increase movement speed and attack speed for X amount of time.
Would this like be like the new ability instead of net shot or shielding shot?
It could be. It could be like in that world we're looking at, like, taking net shot off and then giving them this ability here where it's just like berserker rage, inspire you and your allies to attack speed X amount of seconds and movement speed X amount of seconds, right? Not the flashiest thing, you know what I mean? Not definitely not the flashiest thing. But it is something that is just pretty like iconic for a warrior.
Okay, I don't dislike the idea, but I think it could be kind of boring if the warrior would have like no different ability than 3 shouts, that feels kind of like
yeah,
a little bit like the same thing you do over and over with the guy. I could see this instead of the shielding shout, for example. So you have like one offense shout, like more offensive shout, one more defensive shout. I think that would make a lot of sense. But I'm afraid that if you have the same thing pretty much 3 times from what you do as a player, it could be kind of.
Yeah, fair. For sure. Net shout. Yeah, there we go. You scream really loud and net everybody.
Net shout.
Yeah, net shout. Yeah, I don't know. Warrior's an interesting one, right? There's so much there, right? But it's how do you I have a cool idea
for the shielding shout, which I feel like is also like insanely underused in the game. And my idea was like to add the shielding shout talent to the game, like obviously replace it with the one we have right now, and make it so that any shields you have, after they're done, they explode for half the damage AoE. Like this exists like in Dota, for example. There's like Abaddon, he has a shield, and if it explodes, and there's like half the damage goes on all the enemies around you. This could be really cool with like a charge, for example. Like you shield up, you charge through the enemy, boom, the shield explodes. It's not gonna be too much damage, but it would be like a fun, flashy effect, And
when I heard your thought on that, I was like, holy shit, this is really good. This is really, really good. Like, I love that A/B gameplay of shielding shout and then like going in and when the shield explodes.
And it makes so much sense, right? Like you have a shield up, you want to get close to the enemy. That's like literally what the shield is for, right?
And that was the kind of like out of the box thing that I truly liked. As far as Tiberius is not an option, I'm not advocating putting Tiberius in the game. That's not what I'm. That is
just copy it.
Just
maybe nobody's gonna notice. Maybe nobody's gonna notice.
There's gonna be a bunch of Tiberius hanging out in Jade Gardens. That's the boss there. No, what I'm advocating for, when you think of a warrior, right? You think of like a berserker, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
And so again, is there a enrage ability? Is there a berserker shout in paladins? And the answer is yes, right? It does effectively the same thing. It increases movement speed. It increases and attack speed, right? Now, is it a world that you live in where, you make it a little bit longer but take increased damage, right? And it's like, okay, berserker rage, right? You move faster, you shoot faster, you're a little bit stronger, but you take increased damage. That's the kind of like risk reward system that you might want to look into. But I'm not saying put Tiberius in the game. I'm saying look to the other classes, right? And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Fury Warrior. Okay. Sorry, I got this fucking fuzzy cat in my lap. Zeusy, I love you, but you can't be doing that. Can't be doing it. Yeah, and then you get into talents, right? And say, okay, well, what is that shielding? Like that is, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and this exactly like the idea with the shield that like all your shields explode at the end would combo really well. Like we already have this 300 shield talent on Heroic Leap, right? So like this would be like another combo. Would be really cool. Already have this in the game already. And like my idea for the Javelin was also like that the talent would be every time you hit an enemy, you get like a 100 shield, okay? And like not forever, obviously, like for like 8 seconds or something, like whatever time. And like this could all like combine really well together. And you would have like on one side this like shield warrior, and on the other side like the healing warrior, or like a berserker warrior or whatever. Like I think it would be really
cool. Yeah, not bad. I when I heard your opinion on that, javelin in your world being a long range ability, right?
Yes.
How would having a shield benefit that warrior in that sense? You know what I mean?
That's true. Kind of garbage.
So again, like
I mean, it would be good for mid range, obviously. You know, I don't want it to be like ultra long range, but I see the issue 100%.
Yeah. And there's something to be said about somebody jumping in on you. You land a really cool shot on them, and they're like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude! I just landed this really cool whatever." But it's just How does that feel? How does that do? All right. Overall, like there was a lot of opinions that you had about your the warrior that I saw. And again, guys, Lonnieyo is releasing a video pretty much like every day. Lonnie, did you release a video today?
Yes, and the last 2 days, like 2 videos every day.
Nice. So Lonnieyo releases a video, and then we just shit on it all stream. No, I'm kidding. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
Hey, I want feedback. It's good.
Yeah.
I want to be challenged, so it's good.
Male, female skins. I actually pushed. That's an interesting question. I pushed for that particular, but apparently the skins are a little bit tied to the actual forging mechanics. And I never really got like a clear understanding of I was like, well, why can't you just not? And they're like, Thor, we can't. So that was weird. I would love a female warrior. I would love a male mage, right? A wizard. You can, Q-Tip, get out of here.
We quick opinion to this. We quick. First of all, obviously that's cool. Just the more difference you can have in your skins, the better. At the same time, I feel like it's, and I'm saying this because Realm does this right, and games like Blood Hunt, for example, don't do this right. I want to be able to see what class I'm facing instantly. The moment I see them, I want to be like, oh yeah, this is warrior. In Royale, I always have this. Apart from the Krond assassin, I don't know, but the rest, I always feel like I can instantly tell. Hey, yo, this is a warrior, this is a hunter, this is a mage, this is an assassin, and I think it's important it keeps this way, especially if you add new classes. Like in Blood Hunt, for example, I face an enemy, I'm not sure, is it a saboteur, is it a prowler, for example, just an example. I think it's really important it stays clear, but we can still do this just with colors. All warrior skins are red, for example, just keep it strictly like this, and it would still work, but yeah.
So, not to take anything away from you, but I feel like that, if I could have been there in the beginning, I would have 100% advocated for that. But I feel like we've really screwed the pooch by giving Assassin the Orc Warrior skin, right?
Yes. You know
what I mean? And so we've given classes...
Get it out.
Get it. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think we're past that. You know what I mean? I think we're generally, unfortunately, past that. While certain classes, you know what I mean, will have some skins that are like, oh, why is this a warrior skin? You know what I mean? And I've seen that. And the warrior skin has the that assassin looking one. You know what I mean? The red one. The red one with the blades and stuff like that.
Yes.
So coupled with the fact that every class can use a different ability and all that kind of stuff, I think we're just too far gone. You know what I mean? Would you rather? Yeah,
I don't know. Right now, I feel like it's still easy to tell who you're fighting against. Apart, as you said, I mean, we gotta obviously look at this from a new player perspective. We're gonna know all the skins as well, you know. But a new player would probably get confused, as you said, about the 2 orcs in the game, 100%. So yes, I totally understand where you're coming from. I totally understand, but I think this could get really worse. Honestly, we could do some crazy skins, and then it would be honestly all over the place.
I'm not. So I think the fact that we both in the community was like, why does the assassin have this orc skin?
Yeah.
Right. I think that because we all said that. I think because we always said. I think we have to keep that in mind, right? We should very much limit that mentality, right? And be like, now the assassin male and assassin female. I don't think that's, as long as you. But we already have a little bit of this. The mage has that kunai skin. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is an assassin skin. What is this being on the mage? You know what I mean? And so that's something that's also new players would look at that and be like, oh, this is an assassin. And nah, fuck you, dude. This is actually a mage. You're like, whoa, what is happening right now? You know what I mean? So I think we're a little bit too far gone there. And if it means if somebody's like, well, I like to play females, and you know what I mean, and I can only play a male on assassin, right? Or I can play a ghoul, and you give a really cool female assassin skin, and they buy it. I think. But
then I feel like though, we should make sure that it's still visible. That it is an assassin. Sure. For example, making it a purple skin or whatever, you know? As long as we don't go too crazy then. Yeah, I think it would be cool. Yeah, for sure. Another thing. Okay, just
Mhm.
completely out of nowhere, but if I could, I would add this instantly to the game. Okay,
Okay.
proximity chat. Think about the content. Think about playing solo squads, bullying the shit out of the 4 enemies, and killing them all. Oh my god, dude. I would live for that.
So here's the thing. What is the rating? Does anybody know off the topic? I don't disagree with you. But it has to be an opt-in thing. It has to be.
Yes. Yeah. No question.
And because Warzone has generated so much content about funny comms that you just see it everywhere on TikTok. You know what I mean? TikTok. You see it everywhere on TikTok. Chat. You see it everywhere on TikTok. You see it everywhere on, whether it's Tim the Tap Man getting like sung at or whatever. It just happens all the time, right? I would say for an exploration stage, I would say proximity chat for only when you're chicken. You know what I mean? And you have to opt into it. You know what I mean? Just so like, don't shoot me, don't kill me. No. You know
that's also damn nice, dude. That's good. That's good. I like that.
It's going to be abused. It's going to be, people are going to be called a lot of racist things. You know what I mean? That's why you have to opt into it, right? You have to say, okay, well, this is a setting. You know what I mean? And so there's already chat in the game while you're on Vibes, right? But I mean, I think that just creates content, right? It just creates Rackney, good to see you, dude. So yeah, and I think people see, Will Smith makes a good point.
Just real quick, exactly this again. I didn't play that much PUBG, but I had this one situation which made me love proximity chat forever. Like, we were in a building, like not a big building, like a pretty small building. I was on the low ground, other guy was on the high ground. He knocked my friend, I knocked his friend, and we were like, dude, hey, let's make a deal, okay? We're not gonna kill the downed guys, okay? We're just gonna go past each other, res our guys, and move on. And it was so intense. We both didn't know, is he gonna do it? Is he not gonna do it? And it was so intense, Like, these moments are like, they're so good, dude.
Yeah. And I think some of the older audience remembers like PUBG and like that kind of stuff. And it created those kind of moments, right?
Yeah.
I do feel like there is a push from the industry, video game industry, with liabilities going the other way, right? So you saw League of Legends disable all team anti-cheat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's unfortunate, right? And I think again, it should be off by default, but you can opt into it. Gentle Drag, good to see you, dude.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you for sure. I want to hear Gentle scream in proximity chat when I chicken him, dude. Just imagine begging, you know what I mean? Or like as a chicken being like, "There's another chicken over there. Listen, there's another chicken. Or I will give you the information of all the chickens." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And just be like, don't do it. Yeah, like there's just the sky's the limit there. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, overall, like I said, for your warrior weapons, Gentles, Giants, and other warrior main and all that kind of stuff. You and I were very similar, for sure. And I'm excited to see your version 2.0 of the warrior. I will be right back. I have to pee. Twitch.
Same. Oh, nice. Oh my god, perfect timing.
Okay. All right, shit. Chat. Make fun of us for a second. I'm gonna play a video.
Keep it time, boys.
Real fast. And we have to go pee, and we'll talk about some more stuff when we get back here, chat. So give me 1 second, everyone. Let me do this. Make fun of me, chat.
Welcome back.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Thank you. All right, so
yes,
moving on. Let's talk a little bit. Let's wrap up stage 2 a little bit.
Yes.
So we talked about warrior. Let's talk a little bit about mage and how I think that's just going over this real fast. Number one, you like the frost staff, surprisingly, which is interesting. And I'm not disagreeing with you or whatever. Like, you generally like the frost staff, it's never been my favorite weapon, but it's, people like it. So, however,
I don't like it. I just think it's the strongest.
Fair. Mage is one of those classes that needs a nice Mage 2.0, right? We talked a little bit about it, but we mentioned before how the totem / hookah doesn't make sense thematically. It's too strong in a lot of situations. The soar is a little too strong in some situations. And fireball is solely missed, right? Soul Gust doesn't make sense. Gust doesn't make sense from a thematic standpoint. They got rid of fireball. I would argue in a lot of ways that if any class is going to have multiple charges on abilities, it should be the mage. You know what I mean? Because when you think of mage, you think of using abilities, and they're ability based. So I would love to see, in my opinion, right? I would love to see fireball come back. right,
Mm-hmm.
have 3 charges on it. We don't want Gentle Giant's favorite strategy of like Fireball, Shotgun, Mage. We don't want that, right? So by having 3 charges on the Mage, right? First charge puts an ignite on them. Second charge does a bigger ignite, and third charge maybe explodes the ignite, right? Reward players for hitting a target multiple times with the same Fireball, and bringing I don't know if you've ever seen Atlas. So Atlas, hold on one second. Atlas, Paladins, breakdown. Going back to the Mage, the Ghost Walk. I don't know why Ghost Walk is a thing. You know what I mean? I don't know why Ghost Walk is a thing on the Mage. It was just one of those things where it was just a thing. It was like okay, well, what are we gonna do with Ghost Walk? It used to be an assassin ability. We threw it onto the Mage, and it never really made sense, right? So there's 2 different ways we could go about adding a different movement ability to the Mage. Whether it's rewind here, chat. Give me a second. Now you can't make it heal as much as it is here. And whether it's reducing cooldowns, I don't know. I think it's called Deja Vu here. That is not a thing. Hold on, champ. Did they change it? Is this an old? No. What is this? Oh, am I crazy? What's happening here, champ? Yeah. No. There it is. There it is. So, I don't know if you're watching, but in my opinion, this makes thematic sense for the Mage to have.
Oh, this is actually pretty similar to the idea I had for a blink talent. Like, I wanted a blink talent. Like, you blink in, you have like 3 seconds time to like just click the button again, and you teleport back to where you started.
Yeah, it's very similar to tracers. Like, that's a good point, tracer. Except it's just in here, right? So in my head, that is very close to thematic. Speaking of what the Mage, it could be a really good. It could be a very, very good talent as far as like Ghost Walk. And there's also another one. Corvus has. Corvus has this breakdown. You could use this one for the Mage, right? What it's pretty much just sends a so very similar to Assassin, but that is magey in some sense as well. You throw out a soul or whatever, and then you blink to it, right?
Okay.
And it's kind of magey, but I personally think the rewind is more magey in general. So but yeah, Fireball, getting rid of Ghost Walk, giving mages, taking away the hookah, giving the healing potion back to the Mage, buffing it a little bit, while also through talents making it a polymorph potion where you can say, okay, you now turn into a chicken for 1.5 seconds, right? Through use of talents. That's the kind of stuff that's going to make Mage 2.0 really stand out, right? Weapons are interesting. Weapons are definitely interesting, right? Because in my head, like, short range should be like wand or something like that, but those are always pretty much the tough nut.
Okay, we quick to that. I mean, short range we have pretty much with Ice Staff, right? I feel like Stone Staff is also like obviously really good close to mid range. And here, my friend Lancelot here had the idea to make the Bolt Staff like a single shot long range weapon. Okay. Actually, had a really cool idea for the talent as well, which would be like if you hit this like long range shot, okay, like sparks fly out from it in all directions to like do some AoE damage or whatever, What kind of I think really cool with like the elements, like you got this obviously the ice stuff, the firestone stuff, and the lightning bolt stuff, and it would actually like have some legit elements into the gun. I think it would be kind of cool.
Okay.
I just hate the bolt staff.
Yeah, bolt staff has always been that weird shaman strong staff in paladins for sure.
Yeah.
So that's what I was kind of like theorizing for the
Okay.
Mage. For the and we'll just go through this real fast, chat. For the assassin, we talked earlier about how melee is really locked behind one class, and if any class is going to have melee infused into their kit besides the warrior, it should be the assassin. I think
Makes sense.
if you talk about overarching weapons that have never been really healthy for the game, Fire Shredder is definitely in the same breath.
Yes.
And I would say a lot of people have been advocating for like throwing daggers and all that kind of stuff. I would say hold off on that. I would say there could be a world where we add that in the general as far as another weapon goes, but give assassins double daggers, give the ability to go whether it's invisible for 5 seconds by right click, and if you land a back shot on the target, it increases movement speed by 30% for 5 seconds, right? The risk reward. If you go in and you get the back shot, the backward stab onto a target, right? You're going to be rewarded for that. But by infusing another class with a playstyle of melee, you're opening up the field again instead of locking it behind one class. And that's what I would advocate for the assassin, and because you need to have another class that has melee focus on that kind of stuff. It makes sense for the assassin. It's giving that kind of playstyle back. Mid-range heirloom, reverting the change to the heirloom back. And then for long range, obviously, we talked about the sniper rifle and giving the fun talent of saying, okay, every time you land a shot, landing a shot, it decreases the reload speed by 10%, stacking up to 5 times. If you miss a target, if you miss a shot, it gets reverted.
We quickly add, I think like how many stacks can it have? First of all, like you're not gonna snipe a single person like too many times, you know, because they're probably gonna die. And if it's just a very long range peak battle, then it doesn't matter that you have to reload speed. So we're like probably talking about a mid range scenario where the reload speed really comes in, right?
Wait. So, but if you land your shot and the opponent doesn't land your shot, your reload's going to be up faster than they are. You know what I mean? So you'll.
Okay, you mean like in a sniper versus sniper battle?
Yeah, sniper versus sniper.
Yes.
So you'll be able
okay.
You'll be able to out peak them faster because they're going to have to like zoom in go back, right?
Like generally, I really like ideas like this that are not as straightforward as just adding like, let's say 25% reload speed. Okay, because I mean like that's good, of course, but like if we add talents like you just said, like we have like this new, like let's call it a mini game of something that you can learn and rewards you, like if you do it right, you know. I think that's generally really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just afraid that we can't find the right middle ground here of it not doing anything or like being too strong, because I feel like 10% reload speed might be like too little, you know. Like it will only matter if you do like, I mean, it will matter in a sniper versus sniper. Like you will get the first shot. I get this. Like this point makes sense. But in like any other scenario, I feel like you will barely notice the difference, like DPS wise, and like you would just barely notice the difference on the first shot. You know, like I mean, like in the second shot, obviously. Like you hit the first shot, then you get the 10% reload speed, and it will feel almost the same as well. I don't know if it's rewarding enough for the player as well. You know, like just from a feeling perspective.
So how many shots right now does it take to if it's non-headshots, right? How many shots does it take to kill somebody with a sniper rifle?
Yeah, 3. But like
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but like it's very rare that you like sniper only someone, you know? I feel like sniper rifle, like you pull it out once in a normal scenario mid-range and then like usually switch to the other weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, whether or not 10% is the right number or whatever, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? I just. Yeah, we'll definitely, whether it's 12, whether it's 10, whether it's only stacking up to 45%, but it goes in increments of 15, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, staying on you until you miss a shot, you know what I mean? So you're going into the next fight, with the 45% reload until you miss your first shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be really fun against squads as well, like really fun.
Oh yeah, and then like staying in there and oh my gosh, yeah, just oof. Jeez. Hold on.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
So rounding out the assassin, I would say look to Saudi. So Saudi has something really cool that they just added that I would encourage you guys to check out for the assassins. So the invisibility with the assassin is often overshadowed by blink. Is there anybody that actually takes invisibility on the assassin? I think it's just a very lame, very stupid. Like you can, yeah, it's
just bad. No movement.
Yeah. And in here, there's actually a really City says me. Yeah, fuck you, City. No, I'm kidding. So the so Sadi added a really cool thing here where she throws down a decoy. She throws down a decoy and she goes invisible for about 4 or 5 seconds. She gets 3 charges on it, and you really couldn't do that. But this is perfect assassin. Perfect assassin.
It's definitely better than hidden, 100%.
See, that's the kind of stuff that is just in my head. That's Assassin 2.0, right? Instead of just that's just a perfect fit for that character. And can't give it 3 charges, right? Because you know what I mean. That's just you know what I mean. But that's just perfect. That's generally just a perfect move. That is just a 1-to-1 where it's like, all right, cool. We got something new from Paladins. Let's throw it on whatever, and it just goes well, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how I would bring Assassin up to 2.0. You know what I mean? And guys, if you're just joining us now, what we're doing, we've already been through stage 1. We've been talking now for the last 3 hours and just shooting the shit with each other. What does this look like in the future, right? I'm not working for high res, you know what I mean? While I've applied for the position, you know, have an interview set up. What I'm doing today, just Lonnie and I are just shooting the shit. We're talking to you guys. We're talking about what does Realm look like in stage 1 as far as just, you know, small team investigating, low cost, high impact. What does stage 2 look like, right? Is that the classes being reworked? We've learned, we listened. This is what we envision for maybe a little bit of a reworking for the class. And then what is stage 3? Is it battle passes? Is it new classes and all that kind of stuff? So that is how I would theoretically change the assassin to be, right? All those things that I mentioned before. And then for the hunter, is a little bit interesting, right? In the sense, grapple's a thing now, right? Withdraw is, speaking of Sadi, Sadi has this new called wallbang. We talked. You were on the stream earlier, but there's 2 things here that is pretty cool. There is. Why do you think everybody's using heroic leap on the hunter?
It's fun and it's good. You need vertical movement on hunter. Yeah. And there's just no other way to get it unless you want to play Thor, but it doesn't really like it. You have this nice combo with the leap, right? You can leap and shoot, and it just feels good.
It does, and it's one thing I've always seen is that if players are gravitating towards an ability, give them an example of it. So there is something called wallbang that you might be able to use for Sadi in this. See if it. So what she does, she pushes herself backwards. Not that. She pushes herself backwards, and she pushes the target in front of her backward as well. Is that? Where is it? Hold on.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you might be able to use this one. So this is what it is. It's very simple. It's very basic, right? But it's pretty much just withdraw without the invisibility, and you push back your target, right? Something a little bit more interesting, though, if you wanted to, that we talked about earlier, is Octavia. I'll show you. That's real fast, John.
Okay. Real quick, while you search it, just 2 real quick comments. Like,
go for it.
In case for some reason we would have to absolutely keep hidden and dodge roll in the game, I would just like straight buffs that I would do is just add some movement speed to hidden, like 30%. Like it needs, like you need a movement aspect on your movement ability. Otherwise, it's gonna be too weak every time. And that would make it strong as well. Like it would be harder for the enemy to know where you're coming from next shot. And yeah, that would be the easy change I would do. But I like the approach way more to just add a new movement ability. Just want to make that clear. And for dodge roll, I would add 2 charges to dodge roll if we had to keep it. So yeah, it would be nice. Yeah. Like shoot once, dodge roll, shoot once, dodge roll back. Would be kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost advocate dodge roll to be a basic ability, right, in the game, in the sense of like it's just something you find in a chest, right? Cooldown is so long right now, it just doesn't make sense. Like you're just like, I'm like, dodge roll should at most be like 5 seconds at most. The way it currently is.
Yeah, it doesn't do too much.
Yeah, and so it's just one of those things where it's just like it's just so bad. It generally is so bad. So I talked a little bit about the hunter. A lot of people are using a heroic leap on the hunter right now, and I would advocate for shooting range. I showed this off earlier. So Octavia is a new character in the game. She's really fun. She's got some pretty cool thing that you've played Blood Hunt, and you know how when you aim down sights in Blood Hunt, you actually hover a little bit.
Yes.
So bring a little bit of that to the game. So she actually comes with the kit here, where she actually has a heroic leap on her as well, right? You guys see the heroic leap. By adding by Zeus, get out of here, buddy. Cats. Ow. Shit, Zeus. All right. So for the hunter, maybe hunter 2.0, right? You do something like this as well, where there's a back ones, you go here, draw back your weapon, and you hover for a second. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that'd be really fun. Now, the risk here is that obviously you're above everybody, you're pulling your bow back, and you have that kind of like eagle eye position, but you're opening yourself up. You know what I mean? You're opening yourself up to that damage and all that kind of stuff. So just lean into what the players are already doing, right? Lean into what their players are doing. Give them that heroic leap in that sense, and then give them the ability to kind of slowly go down. And as soon as you shoot your shot, though, you drop. You know what I mean? You can't just like stay in the air the whole entire time. Be like, hey, I'm just gonna fly here. But that's what I was thinking. In that sense, that could be kind of fun. But
yeah, sounds cool. Like other idea would have like a lot of people suggested as well already would be like a grappling hook, like pretty much exactly like Widowmaker. You could still make this a leap play with this by like grappling something. Like you will fly a little bit further, and in that slight flight you get afterwards, you could shoot the enemy. Exactly like people do in Overwatch with Widowmaker, right? That would just be the other thing that comes to mind.
So there is actually there's actually 2 grapple hooks in Paladins now.
Okay.
They added, so there is actually a grappling hook in the file system right now in Realm Royale. Now the issue was that it didn't have artwork, and so they never added it in. And I was like, what is happening? So I was like, who cares about artwork? Just like give it to the players. That's fine. Like if you're not gonna like put it in. And there's also, I'll show you another one. Thank you, Shashadow. Great to see you. Only Hatter's good to see you as well. So I'll show that really fast. It's now it's not like a Pathfinder grappling hook. You know what I mean? It's not like a it's like get momentum or whatever. It's more of a Grover training. Here we go. I'll show you what I mean by that. And yeah, no, I think grappling hook, it is the one, like hunter needs something to deal with verticality, right?
Yeah.
By giving them heroic leap, they do get that, but by let me see. There we go.
Yeah, I just feel like every class should have a vertical movement ability, just because the world is really vertical. Like it's just weird if you don't have one.
Yeah, and so you have that, and I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not like a Pathfinder where you get actually momentum with it and all that, but at least you get some way to get up and all that kind of stuff. So you get a little bit of momentum, right? You can do it sideways and all that kind of stuff and get it. But like Burrito mentioned before, a grappling hook and a hover shot. Like so, if you do, if you could combine the two where you like you in the air, then you hover a little bit and shoot and all that kind of stuff. So you got to be a little careful with verticality just because of console, right? We don't want to run to another world where it's like thrust again. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, for sure.
So if somebody's just living in the air, then you're like, oh fuck. Yeah.
Another quick idea I would have for proximity trap, because like proximity trap is also like an ability that many people have issues with, like when it's really good. Like we had this bug. I don't know if it's still in the game actually. It probably is, but it explodes twice, and you can just like headshot people for free with Diabolus, for example. I would like, if it's possible again, if it's not too hard to make, why not have the proc trap, and when it explodes, it actually pulls the enemy towards the proc trap. That'd be kind of cool. That would be like somewhat of a skill shot, you know? It wouldn't be like free damage, which you always have like issues with. As you said, like stuns are like really rough in a BR, you know? But like if you die once, game is over. And
so
yeah,
there was something like that in Hyperscape. What you would do is you would shoot out a shot and it would drag people into the middle. What ended up happening was the lag and the when you used a movement ability, right? So your first instance, right, you're getting dragged back. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You're gonna get the fuck out. You're gonna get your dodge going or whatever. And what ended up happening was that the server would fight the movement backwards with the movement ability forward, right? And it wasn't programmed right, and so you would get this like jittery shit, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I just generally don't know if Realm could do that, right? In that sense, like it's not a bad idea. It's just, and for sure it's been done before. But it's just, I just remember that it play this day, and people are like, dude, this feels horrible because you want to get out of it and all that kind of stuff, but you can't. And even when you use a movement ability, it just ricochets you back and forth. So
I see.
Yeah, proximity trap is interesting. Like I have a blast arrow. In my opinion, has never been a. It's just like a fireball. You know what I mean? So I don't. Why?
Yeah.
What is blast arrow? Proximity trap makes sense thematically though. Like, but it's never been like a visual thing. It's just always been like a weird genetic. I loved when you could do 2 proximity traps. You know what I mean? I always liked that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. You just, but at that point, it felt like a grenade, right? Because you just like throw double proximity traps and you're just
Yeah.
you're yeeting them in there and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, those abilities would definitely have to be looked at. How do you feel in general? And chat, feel free about this. Flare and center drone. This is one thing that is
Okay. Actually, talked about this today a lot with Lancelot. I feel like both of these abilities are just up all the time when you use them. I feel like I get vision literally like always. Okay, and I don't think that's very good. So I would probably like give it a higher cooldown. Both of them.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I wrote in my notes. I was like, they're at such a low cooldown and so effective that you just throw it off cooldown. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You just throw it off cooldown, like no matter what, and it's such a low cooldown is that you can have vision on somebody 100% of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
And do you find that fun? Do you find vision fun?
Not really. No, I get it. It makes sense. It makes sense with the sniper. You know, it's like, oh my god, I got vision, I got wall hacks. It makes sense, but it's kind of boring. It's very straightforward. It's effective, but it's kind of boring. I don't know.
Yeah, and I effective. Yes, like and nobody can sit here and pretend like flare is not like one of the most strongest abilities in the game, right? But I've never. I don't know. Do we need vision in our game? Would you rather see the game flushed out and fun, interesting A/B gameplay, and just get rid of vision and focus on really fun, unique, cool things? Or would you rather see flare and sensor drone balanced to the point where it's like, you know, higher cooldown and all that kind of stuff? I don't know, because I saw how much vision in Blood Hunt, and I didn't think it never made the game better. It just you were just
be quick to Blood Hunt. I think it literally destroyed the game for me. Like, but mainly due to the fact that it is a fucking minute of the whole map, seeing exactly where you are. Not just the one team, not just one guy. Everyone on map 60 for a minute. I think that's way too much. Thankfully, we don't live in that world where Flare like reveals you for everyone. That'd be nice. Obviously, like it would be more fun if you find a more fun alternative, and I don't think people would miss vision that much. I mean, obviously it's strong, I get it, but we can probably find more fun stuff that's also strong. That seems better.
It's just interesting. That's one thing I'll throw to the community, right? And I'm like, I don't know, healing your teammates, right? You know, being that teammate to throw out and like finding those really cool, interesting moments where like you use those abilities that like abilities in Realm Royale are fun. It's one of the driving factors of why we play this game, right? And when you go to sell Realm Royale to somebody, like, yeah, dude, there's really cool abilities. I feel like a mage. I feel like a warrior. I feel like that, and I have these really cool moments, right, where I'm just using my abilities, and I just don't feel the fun back there. You know, I don't feel shooting a flare in the air and then forgetting about it, throwing a sensor drone against a wall and just like, all right, I'm hitting that button every single time it's off cooldown, right? There's no risk, there's no reward, there's no outplay, there's no, I can't like shoot the flare out of the sky.
I think at the very least we should like drastically remove, like make the cooldown higher, okay, 100%. I think it is very nice to have this for one single reason, and that is campers. Like Realm does not suffer with campers. One of the reasons is, if I have a sensor drone, I can check if there's someone, like if there's a team camping in the Forge, you know? I don't really think Realm needs this too much. Realm has a lot of different things that already work pretty good against camping. For example, the high time to kill. Like, it's not like in Warzone, like someone's camping behind the corner and like you instantly get dropped. No, it just doesn't work in Realm, you know? So I don't think we need this, but it does help exactly with this as well. But, yeah. I would personally not mind if it's removed. But I know that a couple people probably like it, and it needs enough.
They're the people that spam it. No, I'm kidding, chat. I'm kidding. So yeah, it's just something I was thinking about. I was like, there'll never be a moment in a shoutcaster says, "Oh, we launched a really good flare." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's not. I don't know.
But it could be like there's one guy that's like redding in the tournament, okay? Like we're playing trios, but one solo, and it's like, oh shit, they got a flare. Are they gonna see him? Are they gonna see him? You know, like, there's always situations where, but yeah, in total 100%, it's not like an exciting ability to use, especially, you know. It's
not every ability has to be exciting. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
And there's something to be said about, hey, I'm a new player, right? How do I be effective? Oh, I throw a flare out and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I see that. I definitely see that for sure. Yeah, it's just interesting. That's just something I wanted to point at you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something interesting, guys, for sure. That I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, that's Hunter kind of wrapped up, chat. Again, this is just all hypothetical. But yeah, what's next, Lonnie?
Did we talk about Mage? We did, right? Pretty much.
We did.
Okay, wait, I had like. Oh yeah. Just because we saw this in the survey, they talked about ranked seasons, and we talked about this in the Person realm as well. Like, there were like. I know. Actually, no. We just talked about ranked skins, right? For like getting a specific rank. I think ranked seasons would be really good for the game. I get that we don't have the player base to have skill-based matchmaking, like, no question. But I generally think that would be a very cool thing to have. Like, I know a lot of people that only play Apex to play ranked, to grind the ranked. Same with Dota, same with any competitive game. And you can get like a legit community that will keep grinding the game, especially if it's seasons, you know? So I think for longevity of the game, could be really good. But I don't see us being able to start this right now. I wouldn't know how to do it. Especially if you do it without skill-based matchmaking, you know? Like, how do you do this?
So I'm gonna float something at you, and give me your honest feedback, and I've floated this to the community as well. So I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I think there needs to be a hamster wheel, a treadmill of sorts for those competitors to whip their dick out and show them that they're the best, right? The thing is, like you mentioned before, there's not enough players to do ranked-based matchmaking, and the rank system that's in the game currently right now is not a rank system. It's a pseudo.
It's not.
And there's only been really one battle royale to ever pull off rank in a way that's good, and that's going to be Apex, right? Not perfect, and even probably one of the most, the biggest realm royales is Warzone, and it doesn't have it, right? So you got to ask yourself, how do we give great players a way to like flex their muscle? But if we ask yourself, how do we also fulfill the idea that, you know, new players can learn the game, because battle royales are when it comes to retention, horrible. They were generally horrible, and because you get in, you don't know the game, you come in and somebody absolutely slaps you, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? What is happening right now? You know what I mean? Realm Royale counters that with obviously bots, and you know what I mean, and it's not very fast paced. Like, there, as far as the casual versus, you know, Warzone, right? Realm does much better at that, and bots help with that retention. My solution to that would be to, in stage 2, add a rudimentary game mode called Arena, right? And this is what I would say. There's already Arena in the game, chat. It's hidden behind a couple different things. So when you go to Lost Forge, Lonnie, and the circle is directly above Lost Forge, that in and of itself is Arena. You know what I mean? It's a closed off circle. It's and you're fighting other people, right? So how do we do this? It's going to be a round-based competitive 3v3 mode, fast action. The idea is there's going to be a respawn mechanic, and and it lays the competitive groundwork for both competitive, and the fact that it respawns is going to let players learn the game, because you're coming back in, you're fighting, you die, you come back. And so you take a little bit of WoW Arena, you take a little bit of Split Gate Arena, and you take a little bit of Apex, and I think you have a really winning formula here. So there's 20 forges on the map right now, and we talked about earlier how the forges in general offer some of the best level design. You know what I mean? And what you have is you have players spawn on each side of the map. Players must win at least 3 rounds to be ahead of the team by 2 rounds, and best round 9 is sudden death. Have you ever played Splitgate?
Yeah, but a year ago or something. Not a new patch, no.
So one of the really fun game modes that they have here is called Takedown, and the idea is that let's say you, me, and Burrito are on a team. Burrito sucks dick, right? So he dies instantly, right? And you die as well. You know what I mean? So I'm by myself. You guys are going to respawn in 15 seconds. If the enemy team kills me, they win the round, right? If I survive, then you guys can obviously come back. And if we wipe them at any moment, then we win the round. By killing the enemies,
Sounds cool.
By killing the enemies, we reduce our cooldown, our respawn timer. By us dying, we increase our cooldown timer. You know what I mean? So that, in my opinion, right? So you're trying like, okay, I'm the last person there. I got to run away because my team's gonna be respawning in about 5 seconds. Or let's say I turn around, I get a nice shot. It reduces the respawn timer by 5 seconds. You're back into the game, right? That's, in my opinion, is how you kind of meet that gap between giving players the arena to be able to like, all right, flex it. You have an MMR system, you have a rank ladder, you have rewards for being, in the top 100, that's like skinned or whatever. And then you also, because it does give you the ability to respawn, right? And there is an MMR system, right? You're going to have new players come in and be like, okay, well, I have another chance. I have another chance, right? And that's, in my opinion, how you take care of that situation. Because if you add a rank system to the game, it's going to take players away from the overall like queue system. However, this will still take players away, but what you're doing is these rounds don't last as long as a typical battle royale. You have, like, say you log into Realm Royale, and say, oh, cool, I have a challenge, right? Win 3 arena matches. Gonna knock that out, then I'm gonna switch over to battle royale, knock those challenges out. It gives the player choices, and it gives the player that feeling of agency in the sense of like, yeah, I can play some arena, or I can go back to the battle royale. But if you only have ranked battle royale or casual, you're taking 2 different player pools at this time. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's
question to that one real quick. I mean, like, obviously you're not gonna have everything planned out right now, okay? But like, how would you pick the loot for the classes? Can you just get a loadout at the start, or can you make a loadout? Or?
So every class starts off level 1 with white weapons, right? You have your slug, would be your basic weapon. And then you would have your class weapon that you get to choose, right? From the talent system. Then you have your abilities that you also choose from the talent system, right? When you go to the next round, it goes from white to green to purple to legendary, right? And you could add more complexity in the sense of like, oh, I did really good this round, so I have a buyback economy or something like that. But I don't think Realm needs it. I generally don't think so, right? You start off with all white weapons. Next round is purple. Next round is green. And then you just go into that one. You know what I mean? And I think you're going to add a lot bigger player base. You already had people like Ninja and Shroud be like, dude, this is just like World of Warcraft, but like shooting and stuff like that. And I think you need a place for the top tier people to just whip their dick out. And no offense to anybody, but you really do. You really do. And this is where it is, right? This is where, because you can't be like, oh yeah, I have a rank of 1,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this seems really good, man. I would really like this in the game. Like, I played, since Arena came out in Apex, I literally didn't play a single game of VR anymore. I only played it because it was so fun. It was so fun, just like, you get your loadout, you get your stuff, that, but like without RNG, like, I like it a lot. It's cool.
Yeah. So white on vibes, Arena would be, but see, the thing is, unlike Apex or, World of Warcraft, you do have a respawn mechanic in this type of arena, such as because it mirrors takedown, right? The idea is that you respawn. You're like, when your team dies, like say I die in the team, I would increase the respawn by 2 seconds, right? Like Lonnieyo dies, he increases the respawn by 2 seconds, but then you are on a team, and then you're kicking ass, right? Every kill you get is reducing the respawn timer, so I'm back into the action. Coupled with a soft MMR system into the game, right? A soft MMR where somebody like me and somebody like Lancelot would never play in the same game because Lancelot's just so much better than me. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then that's again
20 FPS hunter.
Yeah. And so that's what I think in a stage 2, right? That's what I think in a stage 2. And again, this would have to take a little bit of UI, but the building blocks of this is already into the game. We already have Arena. We already have an arena in the game. Think about it. It's Lost Forge. It's Ice Haven. It's Crossing. Would prefer Revolver over Slug? Yeah, I mean, again, that's those minutia, those tiny details, whether it's Revolver or whether it's Slug. I just think Slug is just kind of a baseline good weapon. You know what I mean? And where I think most people be like, oh yeah, slug does, you know, it's medium range, short range, long range, and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Choose a per match or come in with a loadout predetermined. So I would say the talents that you select dictate what you get in the game, right? Just like it is in the Forge right now, right? It'd have to be a couple tweaks here and there, but if you pick up movement talent, right, or what you select, right, what you would normally select for Forge, it would be in the same thing. So in a soft MMR, no, right, because it depends on how much you make the outliers, right? Anybody, so a soft MMR system would be, you know what I mean? Somebody, your MMR ranking of potato to mildly good, and then somebody who's mildly good to amazing, right? Mildly good would still play it amazing, and mildly good would still play with potato. Totally need 3, so yeah. So having said that, I would love to see a world where you couldn't choose the same character, right? Every you go in and you can't have like 3 majors. You know what I mean? You can choose, every person gets to do one class, right? And then on top of that, the fact that we're changing it to 3s, Lonnieyo, is going to make people think about it. Be like, okay, well, you know, I can do trios in Realm, I can do trios in Arena as well.
Yeah,
so,
sounds
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? He's excited, Kiwi. He's excited. All right. Yeah. All right. I gotta pee one more time. Lonnieyo, take it away, buddy. Talk to the chat. Whatever you want to talk about, Lonnieyo. Bag is excited though.
Guys, how long is this gonna last? I wanna play Dota, dude. What the fuck? Fuck you, the Rot. Hey guys, be quick. I would actually be so fucking happy if he would get the job. Like, this guy obviously cares about the game, you know? And I think that's actually the most important thing, that we get someone working in a game that, like, legit cares about the game, you know? I think that's the most important thing. Plus, his ideas are all good. Plus, he's talking to us. This is, yeah, we'll see. Let's hope Hyros isn't stupid. We know Hyros, you know? Let's hope they take him. Let's just hope, boys. Yeah, I would be, you know, like, we're all in this position where we don't really trust whatever Hyros is gonna do, like, because of all the things they did in the past. But I think we trust Thor, and I think it would be a really nice fit.
Oh yeah, baby.
Welcome back.
Yeah. All right, buddy. We've shot the shit about a lot of things today, man. We've shot a lot. Is there anything you want to tackle? I know it's getting pretty late for you, buddy.
I mean, real quick. I mean, it doesn't need to be tackled, but I would like to see another battle pass. But I think we all do. I think they need it as well to get money. That would be nice.
Stage 3. I think every battle pass should, like, somebody mentioned, like, hey Thor, how would you monetize the game? And this is gonna sound a little bit
full money, please. No crowns for battle pass. They need money.
They do need money. I would say in stage 3, right, in a world where this is a long time in the future, chat. This is hypothetically. I would say put the new class behind the battle pass. In the sense, if you buy the battle pass, you instantly get access to the new class. If you don't buy the battle pass, you get it on the free track at rank 30 or something along the lines. You know what I mean? That way, like, people see a fucking shaman, they're like, oh fuck, a shaman! Holy shit, dude, that's awesome. He's like, oh, how do I get it? Oh, battle pass. Okay, well, what the fuck. You know what I mean? And then it's like, no, I gotta play if I can't afford it, right? But I can at least play, you know, 100 or so games or whatever, 20 games, 10 games. I don't know. I'm not a fucking marketing guy, but you know what I mean? That's what I would advocate as far as the battle passes go. You know, it's interesting. Apex does more of a high skin game. You know what I mean? They do loot boxes, and I fucking hate loot boxes. I hate loot boxes, but they don't really. They do. You know what I mean? Like I like the idea of releasing skins that are like, I would rather pay $20 for a really high quality skin. You know what I mean? I would. That's kind of where I go in that direction. I was like, if they released a badass warrior skin, you know what I mean?
I personally feel like 20 is too much. Like, honestly, I never bought a skin in Apex just because it's so expensive that I feel like, I don't know, it just feels bad paying $20 for a single skin. It just feels bad to me personally. I don't know. I would rather buy 5 skins for $5, you know? Just from my perspective.
Yeah,
But generally, of course, I really don't care. I just want them to make whatever, do whatever makes them the most money, so they can keep supporting the game. I literally don't care about anything else.
Yeah,
I would buy all the skins. I don't care.
I will buy all. I will buy all. Yeah.
Yes.
That's fair. And yeah, to Lancelot's point, they would have to like make a class specifically available for purchase and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just weapon skins as well. We've never done weapon skins.
That'd be so nice, man.
We need weapon skins. But it's so expensive, man. I got floated a number to me, and I was like, oh, why don't you do this? And they're like, well, Thor, the amount of money it takes to like make a skin is like in the 200,000. Like it was, I think he threw $232,000. I was like, what?
Why?
And I'm like, I don't know. But it was like from the ground up, from like conceptual to like everything and like time work and all that. I was like, what is that? What is that?
Fuck?
You know what I mean? I was like, that is crazy to me. And so they're like, yeah, that's just what it costs. And it was like a really, really nice skin. That was a really, really nice skin for sure. But yeah, I was blown away. I was blown away on that. Blown away for sure.
Holy shit! Like, how much does a battle pass take then, man? That sounds crazy.
I think it's I from what I was told, it's probably about in $1 million easy. Like on that one, right? Because you got to think of how many developers are working on it, how many people are how many skins that you're doing. You know what I mean? Time invested.
Just buy it on Fiverr.
Yeah,
I'll give you $50.
Fiverr did. And so, and also you have to outsource it a lot of the times. A lot of the battle pass skins were outsourced from Hi-Res. They didn't make it in house. They outsourced it for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I would love to see a world where like battle passes from a ARPU standpoint, average revenue per user, really doesn't make sense. But like with a small player base, the more players you have in your game, the more that for sure. But it is a grind as well. It is a hamster wheel. Be like, oh, I got to get the battle pass. I got to do this. So there's a couple different things that go into a battle pass as far as like metrics go. But
yeah, I think just too much marketing. Like, let them do whatever works best, honestly. I just want them to succeed. That's the most important thing. Like, I feel like everybody cares more about actually the game being developed than the skins at the end of the day. And as long as they can pay the bills, like, that's what matters.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I charged them about $200,000 for my voice no, I did not. I did that pro bono. I did not. I am still playing Bloodhunt. Yes, I am still playing Bloodhunt. It's very good. Expensive box for sure. Yeah, but that's pretty much it with me though, Lonnie. Unless you got
same man. I think we talked about everything. But that's
we ran the gamut for sure. But Lonnie, I want to thank you very much for jumping in with me and having a long convo with me, brother.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
And if you need me, you know where to find me. Chat, get drops some hammers down for Lonnieyo. And yeah, buddy.
Please, okay, I beg you from the bottom of my heart, and pretty much I think everybody that plays Realm, kill it at the interview, okay? Get this job. We need you in there, okay? We need someone that cares about the game, that plays the game, that knows what the fuck he's talking about. So please, tell Hi-Res to take you. I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, Thor, why do you want to work in the game? He's like, I like to smell people. And I feel like if I work at a video game studio, I can really sniff a lot of people, preferably men. You know what I mean? Just, oh, that's a rare knife. Like, that's what I'm going to do. Oh, yeah, for sure. Thanks for the kind words, buddy. And we'll talk again. We'll shoot the shit again. And yeah, it was enlightening for sure.
Dude. Yeah, we'll see you around, man. Bye.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.